Hello, welcome back to another episode of Two Dudes Drinking Beer. Now, I know what you're thinking. Josh, Alec, it's Sunday. Yes, it is. This is the very first, it's a very special occasion, actually. Right here, I have, go ahead and introduce yourself.
I'm Chase.
Chase and I go way back, actually. The last time I've ever seen her was actually in 4th or 5th grade, so about 15 years ago.
Wow.
So she came all the way out here just to be on our show after I asked her. So thank you so much, first of all, for doing that. And it's the only week so far where we've ever done 3 episodes.
So you're welcome.
Yeah, you get to see more of us. So that's super cool. So yeah.
Can we also take a second and just, I want to, hand out the beers, let's get this going. But
today we're drinking Samuel Adams because of Raul.
Thank you, Raul.
Who's Raul?
Raul's our good friend who brought Samuel Adams for our birthday because Josh loves Samuel Adams.
He's the piece of shit who beat me in a race.
And no one drank it. So
What kind of, this is like a foot race?
Yeah, who could do a faster mile.
A mile, wow.
Yeah.
What were the times on that?
I don't want to say.
we had it's funny enough, we had it written in chalk on the sidewalk when you walked
right in front
really?
of the gate.
I just missed
walked
it?
past the
Dang.
gate. Yeah, you just got to pay attention on your way out at least.
He did his in
8:05
and mine was 11.
805.
Mm-hmm.
Good beer.
They have that out there?
Yeah.
We were just talking about that when you were gone, bro. I swear to
Oh.
God.
I
They got
don't
it
know.
in Arizona now. It's
I was
everywhere,
downstairs.
apparently.
I know they had it in Texas.
Well,
What's
my
it?
mom's liked it for like, I want to say the past like 6 years I've like known about it. It's always been her favorite beer.
6 years?
Yeah.
8:05?
Yeah. I mean, it might be because she's a
Shit.
flight attendant, so she's
Oh,
always
okay, yeah.
in
She's-
other states, so I guess maybe she's tried in other places.
They probably have it on the plane.
Yeah,
Just for locals.
Maybe.
I would. What's it going to take for us to get a Sonic out here?
You don't. There's no Sonic out here.
The closest
Way up north.
is
Actually, I have
60
an
miles.
important question. Do you guys at McDonald's have the hot and spicy chicken sandwich on the dollar menu?
We
McChicken,
used
yeah.
to.
You do have it.
Do we still have it?
Pretty sure.
I don't know, yeah.
Because
We may or may
I was living in Oregon for like 3 months this year, and they didn't have it on the menu. And that's my favorite thing on the McDonald's menu. Like, if I ever go there, it's the only thing I get. And I pull up to a McDonald's, and I'm like, where's your hot and spicy? They're like, we don't know. They literally said, we don't know what you're talking about. I was like, yeah, you do. I know people ask that
It's got to be
question.
a denomination thing because, like, spicy food out here is like, if you go anywhere, there's always the option for like jalapenos or Tabasco. There's always some sort of spice you can get on there.
The demographic.
It's the demographic of just, people. I got jalapenos on my breakfast bagel this morning. It's
On
like,
your bagel? Oh.
oh my God, are you gonna
What?
judge me for that?
I'm not. I'm like, why haven't I thought of this?
Was it a jalapeno bagel or
No,
just
it was just a
like
sausage-
that cheddar, parmesan.
It was a sausage, egg, and cheese bagel, and I was like,
Oh.
can you add avocado and jalapenos?
Wait, was there cream cheese on it still?
Yeah, there was.
Yeah, that's important.
Yeah, you got-
People don't think about on a breakfast sandwich adding cream cheese like with the regular cheddar, bacon.
Well, it's a breakfast
egg.
bagel, not a breakfast sandwich. So you gotta.
That's important.
If it's a breakfast sandwich, people are thinking white bread, wheat bread,
yeah.
maybe
No.
butter, sure, but totally different ball game.
That's important.
So you asked about Sonic. Something I would want here is Einstein's bagels.
Einstein's.
Unpopular opinion. I'm just like,
I haven't had
there's
it.
just so much better
10
bagels
years.
out there. Better cream cheese, better bagel.
Sure.
Like
It is pretty hyped, but
but you can get a bagel there.
To
Like,
have it
sometimes
in-
it's hard to find, but you'll get what you want.
To have
Imagine
it
going
after
to a
10
place called
years.
Einstein's Bagels, and all they serve is like falafel or some
like-
shit, and you're just like, bro,
I don't
why do you have
understand.
bagel in the name?
I have
We just like to bring you in.
I have very few memories, and that's one, standing in a long ass fucking line to get shit bagels. Not shit
Einstein's?
bagels, but like yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Just
I'm
like a
why
good
do
amount.
you shouldn't crave that here. You should. The Sonic definitely like
Sonic,
that long like
I still
Coney
miss
dog,
that.
like,
Yeah. Okay, what is the name? I've been dying over this because I keep seeing Sonic commercials. What's the name of like the Frosty with the ice cream in it? Is there a name for that, or
a Frosty with ice
like
cream.
the
The
slushy but with the ice cream?
Oh, well,
I used to get those as a kid, and I
Okay,
don't remember if
those
there's
are
like a name
amazing.
for it. That's
I
what I'm
don't-
saying.
there's this place in Arizona called Rita's, and they do like a frozen custard with like the slushy in there. But like, I don't know the name, but
But there should be a name for it, right? Like
probably something
Pizookie.
special. Yeah,
Like for cookies and with ice cream. It's like there's got to
Yeah.
be a name for it.
I can't think of a single one though. It's something special. It's definitely not Frosty because Frosty's is like trademarked by Wendy's.
Yeah, for sure. They'd get their shit sued.
Yeah, that chocolate Frosty with the French
Yeah.
fries.
Here's to you,
Oh.
and
Thank you, Jace.
here's to you, man. You guys
Cheers.
are all
And Ian sitting over there.
Accompanying Chase.
I think it's just called an ice cream slushie. I did a number crunch.
He's Jamie.
Thank you,
Wow,
Jamie.
thank you.
Thank you, Jamie. Ice cream slushy. Hey, man, those are important questions to have. Important answers to have. Yeah, I was gonna say too earlier. I wanted to bring up how crazy it was because at one point we were talking about bringing guests onto the show, and Josh was like, "We could talk about mental health with this girl Chase," and I was like, "Really?" And he's like, "Yeah," and I was like, "Message her right now."
Really?
And it was just after we shot the show.
If it wasn't for him, I probably wouldn't have said anything.
I'm not trying
Really?
to take credit for it. I'm just saying, like, I was so shocked on how easy it was because I'm blown away that you came from another state.
I know.
So-
I'm pretty blown away too. I was like, well, the second you messaged me, I was like, I'm like, I don't know.
What was going through your head? You're just like,
My first thought process, I
Trip
was
to
like,
Cali.
who does he, like, does he think I know
Who does he think he
more
is?
than I do? I'm like, I don't know what his thought process is.
Mm-hmm.
But if he trusts me, then I must have done something right. So I'm like, I've got nothing going on. Might as well come out there. But I've, like, watched a little bit of your shows, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I haven't seen, like, a female guest.
You are the first.
you were the first female
So
guest.
I was like, I gotta go now.
You're making history for
Like,
sure.
Exactly.
paving the way.
Definitely. Yeah, I want to ask a question though. What was it that you saw? Was it my transformation post?
It was a really long post where
Yeah.
like you were talking about like you had to deal. You moved back from Oregon and it was your transformation and were in a relationship that ended that you thought was going to last forever, and your parents.
Yeah, I think
divorced.
it's so interesting to hear like the way other people perceive it, especially like in a whole other state. I'm like, wow, I didn't know it like could reach that far. That was not something I thought about when I wrote it.
That's how it is sometimes.
I check Facebook every day.
Oh yeah, and I never post anything on Facebook, and then I was like, I'm gonna post on Facebook. Like I want to reach as many people as I can, and was not expecting like after I posted that, I got like flooded with messages, like people I haven't spoken to, if at all. Yeah,
There you go. Hey.
in years. Yeah, people really seem to appreciate like the vulnerability and like something that I really wanted on Instagram and Facebook, like a place where everyone is just like really trying to like show like the highlights of their life. I'm like, I feel like that's what I've been doing. I've been trying to like kind of like show this kind of person that I want people to perceive me as, and like that was like my first time ever on the internet like being super real with how I actually felt. And that was the first time I ever got a response out of anything I posted, and I was like, yeah, kind of like this feels good. It feels good to be like seen. So then I did it again.
That's beautiful. The word you said, vulnerable, really resonates with me because I've got this mantra I kind of repeat to anyone is if you open up and allow yourself to be vulnerable, you encourage people around you to open up
Yeah.
and be vulnerable.
That's yeah.
And it's really kind of just rang true with me and just kind of like my philosophy on things. Because if you ask Josh, he's one of the guys who will tell you like I'm rough around the edges but soft on the inside. And it's one of those things like
Yep.
I'm hard to like get to know or get along with, but at the end of the day it's like you know that I'm a good person.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of it's because I might be abrasive when I first meet somebody during a first interaction, and I'll give like a bad first impression. But if people kind of wait, eventually I'll open up and be like, hey, this is something that's on my mind. And then it'll give them the chance to reciprocate. And that's how the bond kind of forms. And on the internet, especially these days, I think it's super great that you're putting it out there. It's just like a kind of like a power move, right? Like
It totally
I
is.
don't care.
I'm making the first step to be vulnerable, and like I know how scary it is, and I know like meeting people too. It's like I want to like create that safe space for people to feel like they can open up to me right away, but I know that that's also a lot to ask of somebody. So I have to just like right away open that up for them, and then usually you can just you can see their walls coming down and they feel like safe enough to come and talk to you and really just be themselves.
Well, that's kind of what I'm touching on is like if people realize that you're being genuine, because people can tell like people know bullshit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if
you
you
can
were
sense it for sure.
if you were posting stuff online of you like flexing or whatever, or like, hey, trip to Cali, this or that or whatever, that's one thing. But to be like, hey, I'm going out here to say something that I actually give a shit about.
Yeah.
People will be like, oh, well, like maybe I should go listen, because it's not just a picture anymore. It's a little bit more. There's a little bit deeper meaning. And if they can take something away from that and then go, you know, it's one of those, it's like a saying, but it's like, plant a seed and watch it grow, kind of.
Yeah.
Like
Dude, you're saying things that I've just been like thinking about so much this summer, like the planting seeds thing. I've noticed that. So like when I was in Portland, I was kind of like wanting to make new friends. I was trying to get away from everything that was going on here. And
you went to the wrong place.
I did. I really. It was great. Like I had always like dreamed of living there, and it was beautiful. And it's funny because every single time I go to Portland, it's in the summertime. It's around my birthday. And then I moved.
Did your birthday just pass?
Yeah, it was in June.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. 24 now. Just a woman.
Gang.
But yeah, my uncle said he had an extra room, and it's always been my dream to live there. And I was like,
why not?
All right, I'm going to go. Never been in the winter. Never went in the fall. So I ended up going in November to like check it out. And I was like check out his place. And I was like, dang, it's kind of cold. Like, okay. And then I moved in January, and I was like, oh my God.
What
like,
did
this
I
is
do?
depressing. Like, everyone always told me, they're like, you're going to be so depressed in the rain and the cold. And I'm like, no, I love the rain. But, like, the rain in Arizona is, like...
Monsoon season.
It's monsoons.
Yes.
It's, like, everyone takes the day off. No one... It's like a snow day somewhere else. It's
the
like,
best.
We all pretend, like... We have no responsibilities. Like, I remember being in school, like, growing up, would have the doors open.
Hell yeah. I remember sitting outside with my family, just letting the warm water kind of like...
And it smells like you can smell the dust, and it's...
We got to show her the candle.
If I could find it, it's somewhere.
A monsoon candle?
Are you familiar with the creosote bush? The bush, if you squeeze the leaves and smell your hands, it smells like rain?
No.
We have a candle like that, and it
may
smells...
have a candle.
May or may not.
It's somewhere.
But if you light it, it literally... It feels like a teleport back to Arizona.
It smells
Really?
like that scent.
I need that candle.
It changes the entire environment around you.
But if you smell it and overuse it, is that gonna like take away from how great
Totally.
it,
I mean,
yeah.
He had it lit one time for an hour, and I was like, you got to blow it out because I'm freaking
away
out.
the special.
Yeah, no, it's the same. Do you ever do this where it's like there's certain songs from an artist you don't listen to anymore because you love them so much?
Yes, absolutely.
So for me, it's the same thing of like, if I love a song, you have to listen to it when you need it.
You know, like, so usually when I get into an album, it's like I listen to the whole album, and then I listen to it again, and then like those first 2 times I'm probably not into it yet. By like the 4th time around, I'm obsessed with it, and then for the next month, that's all I listen to. And I know in the back of my head, I'm like, Chase, take it easy, like, you know what's gonna happen.
You're gonna hate this in a month.
You're gonna hate this so soon. And there's an album that I'm listening to right now, and I'm like, I'm coming onto the brink. I'm like,
what's it called?
It's by Lizzie McAlpine, this girl from Boston. It's like this just little, I don't know what the album is called. I think it's called Where Do I Go? Or maybe, I forgot. But I just like randomly stumbled upon it, and I was not expecting to fall in love with it because my music taste is like all over the place, but it's also like the time of the season that I was listening to it, what's been going on with my life.
It just kind of worked with the vibe.
It just clicked. It like, I sunk right into it, and I'm so afraid for the day that I'm like, oh, I gotta turn this off.
Well, that's the thing though. Like, even though that day will come when you have to turn it off, you're gonna revisit it in a few years and be like, oh my God, and you're gonna feel what you felt when you first listened to it.
That's terrifying. Like, I hope that
this candle will do that.
Really?
Yes, it'll. Like I said,
I'm like looking. Where's this candle?
You keep pointing over there.
Nothing's over there.
It used to be over there by that speaker. It's not there anymore. I think it burnt out.
I talk with my hands a ton.
It was also.
Are you Italian?
No.
No.
It was also a gift from my ex, so I may have thrown it away in rage.
Yeah. I kind of.
That happens.
I kind of realized that after I said that. I was like, shit.
Oh, it's all good.
Well, it's a good smelling candle.
It is a great smelling
There's
candle.
something good that came out of it, you know?
Yeah,
Yes.
no, and
Yes.
it's always about what you can take away. But
You can find it on Etsy.
Okay. I'll look for it.
It's there.
for sure.
I was thinking of like a how do you pronounce that? Palo Santo?
Palo Santo?
Yeah.
The tree.
Yeah, that's the smell that I'm thinking of right now.
I don't even know how to describe it. For me, it's just Arizona.
Gotcha.
It's just the smell of Arizona. It's like,
Oh shit! I forgot to do something.
What?
My daily nugget of knowledge.
What is that?
So, in the last episode, I wanted to start the show off by saying a fun fact to help people, because generally the first like 10 minutes is all the audience retention. So if I could walk away giving anybody some new information, that's what I would like to do.
I like it.
And I forgot to do it today.
Well, to be fair, if you want to start a routine, it's best to stick to the Mondays and Wednesdays and not the Saturday that we decided to have the show on today.
It's so special.
So technically, I didn't forget. This is
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He didn't forget. It's just one of those circumstances.
It's an exciting day. So today, I have learned that humans shed 40 pounds of skin in their lifetime, completely replacing their outer skin every month.
That is so gross.
Wow, you don't have to really worry about losing weight. You're like, you can plan on losing 40 pounds by the time you die.
40 pounds a year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, a year?
No.
I think you said, you said lifetime.
Why would anyone go on a diet?
In a year.
Yeah, lifetime.
I got a year. Chocolate cake, please.
Yes, lifetime.
Wow.
I'm functionally illiterate, so I can't read. I mean, I can read. I just don't understand it.
Yeah, I see.
I think I was talking about this with you earlier too. It was like, if I read a book or something and I read it in my head, I couldn't retain it. But if I said it out loud, it's one of those things that I would be able to recall a little better.
Yeah, I have to read, but it's like I have to read it in my head and then I read it out loud and then I read it in my head again, and it's like one paragraph. It takes me forever to read a book, and I'm like, I'll be on the same page for an hour, and I'm like, for some reason my brain is just in another world and I can't.
Just goop.
Yeah.
I just fucking remember doing those reading tests where I had to go check out those
AR books?
Yeah. And just doing those fucking
They're like
reading tests.
like there's like colors on them, and there's like certain. I remember.
Yeah, getting those
like certain
difficulties.
points.
Wait, did you ever read that sea turtle book? Like everyone at the end of the semester was like they were cramming in for the points, and this sea turtle book, it was just like super easy, but it was kind of high in points. So we would all like surround this computer and like all take the test together before the teacher walked back in. It was like 5 questions, like get as many points as we can before like the AR test is over.
That's awesome.
I remember doing that
That shit's
with like Ryan
fucking
Costella and Chad Clark.
Chad Michael.
I've heard those
yeah.
names before. Do you guys keep in contact with any other?
You've heard those names before?
Well, I heard the Costello. I think Josh might have brought that person up once or twice.
Maybe.
You guys.
Ryan Costella, my
Pretty
first
tight with Ryan.
boyfriend
Yep.
in elementary school.
Nice.
Shout out Ryan.
Shout out to Ryan.
Yep.
Do you
Good
still
kid.
keep in touch with anyone from elementary or?
My best friend Paige, yeah.
Okay.
Do you remember Paige?
Paige Vandenhoevel.
She is gonna hear that. The fact that you
pronunciation?
pronounced it so right, Paige.
Oh, see, it's
Tell me
because
how
we
you
went to
feel.
school together.
That was impressive. No one says it right. Sometimes I don't even say it right. So, and that's something that
I'm better
she
than her.
values. Yeah.
Damn.
You're a better friend than I.
She probably
could
doesn't
ever
remember
be.
me. Hi.
She definitely remembers you.
Okay, cool.
Definitely.
I like to think I'm very forgettable.
No, I wouldn't say that. I remember you. Okay, High School Musical came around.
Oh, there it is.
I remember thinking you looked like Zac Efron because you had like that swoopy hair.
Damn.
Yeah, you
That's
totally.
why you
take
did it.
I'll take it.
That's why you did it.
That's a great compliment.
I'll
so.
take
No,
it.
it totally is. If you haven't noticed or if you're not aware, he's a huge fan of High School Musical.
I had a feeling.
So
Loved
I love the fact that you brought that up because it's just like I like to clown on him because I think it's like a Disney
wait, I'm
movie.
serious though. You do like High School Musical.
He fucking loves it.
For real.
Yes.
Ask him
Thank
anything.
God.
Is there any trivia
Well, what's
question?
your favorite one?
I mean, the second one's pretty cool. I never saw the third one because I don't want it to end.
Oh, I love it.
So-
I know how you feel. I cried like a baby because I watched it in the movie theater and it was really emotional. Don't watch it. It's too
So
much.
before, like, okay, so my entire like musical library now is mainly death metal.
Okay, and
It's-
then
before
High School Musical.
before I got into death metal, I listened exclusively to the Jonas Brothers, Hannah Montana, and High School Musical,
Wow.
which is something not a lot of people would think about me.
I would never have guessed that.
Just
well,
by
you're
looking at me.
multifaceted. You know, you just have. There's a lot of depth to you. Like
He's a black rainbow and a pink rainbow.
wow, that's sweet.
Couldn't you just say a regular rainbow?
Nope.
Just I know.
Just pink.
Just the pink Disney side.
Okay. But yeah, so I mean, I love High School Musical. I love almost everything Zac Efron does. I loved Baywatch.
You know,
He's
you
a
need to see
hunk.
the third one because there's a song on it called "Scream" on the third album, and this whole summer actually I've been listening to it a lot in the shower on my way to like major events, like something that like I'm like nervous about or something. Like it really like eases my nerves.
Is it about screaming before getting to the event?
It's like, you know how he's always having that issue where he's like basketball or singing and he just all the pressure from his parents and everybody, and it's like being pulled back and forth, like wanting to like not disappoint anybody, but also doing what's like true to his heart. And it's just like he's like a pressure cooker. He's gonna explode, and he's got to scream. And at the end of it, he lets out like the best.
Fuck!
Pretty much.
Saturday school, Mr.
It would
Efron.
probably be way more genuine if he did scream "fuck," but unfortunately,
There should be an adult
Disney.
version of. There should be a college musical.
know, a
Fucking,
college
you know, something a little more up to date.
I was pissed when they did the 10-year. They got everyone of the main cast back together.
but Zach wasn't in it.
and he wasn't there. I watched it live on TV, and they're like, Zach can't be here because he's too good for this. They didn't say that, but
I mean,
that's what
everyone was
saying.
thinking it.
You know, I think that it'd be good for you to watch it. I feel like just diving into your emotions like that, like really
Emotions?
feeling it. You
I don't
know?
have emotions.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like you don't
Maybe-
want to
maybe
watch
I
it
don't-
because
maybe
you're
I don't
trying
want-
to hide
Maybe
from
that's
that
the
pain.
lid. That's the lid on your Sammy Adams, bro.
I don't want to live
Pop
that
the
kind
top.
of life.
You got to process. You got to watch the third High School Musical. You got to really just
What's
like,
it called?
sit
Acceptance?
in
What's the
it.
last step? Acceptance?
Acceptance, I think, maybe. I really don't know the steps. All I know
The 7
is
stages of grief.
But it's like
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can't do it until you face your demons, bro. And if the end of High School Musical is what's preventing you, then you gotta just
honestly,
fucking.
it's something worth looking into.
I'm just gonna become a whole new person in a day.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
That's like this summer, like leaning into like the pain of whatever it was that was causing me depression was the reason I was able to get out of it. I was just like sobbing all summer. Like there's been so many mornings, nights, afternoons, just it's pure sobbing.
You think it's one of those things where it's just like you gotta kind of handle it and take care of it or get it out of your system,
100%.
or
And it's like you have to
get another beer, man.
you have to know what it is that you're crying about to the fullest extent. You can't just be like sad about the certain event that happened. You have to know what it was about the event, not just like the person. For instance, like my breakup. Like I wanted to think that it was the fact that I wasn't with this person anymore, but in reality, there was so much more depth to it. It was like the validation I needed from him and his friends. That was a lot of pressure for me, and I had to like figure that out on my own. And I guess I never would have thought of it. I was like, oh, I'm just not gonna be with him anymore, like, oh, it's just a breakup. But there's actually like so much more that goes into it, like, and that is why I ended up going to Portland. But
When you say validation, is it like a reward system, or is it more like a self-esteem thing? Like, oh, I belong here. There's a sense of belonging in this group, or is it like, oh, she's the funny one. Oh, she's this person. We need her. She's like a cornerstone.
I want to feel
make
like that
sense?
importance. Like,
Yeah.
I want to have like that
The
at that
belonging?
time, that belonging feeling. Like, especially during that time too, was when my parents got divorced. It was like a whole, like, this breakup lasted like a very long time. But like after my parents got divorced, like my mom moved to Nevada, and then my dad ended up like selling the house. So it's like I didn't have like a foundation to go back home to. And like he was kind of like my family in the sense. And so like, and my friends and I, like, I kind of it was like during college, so it was like I didn't really have the same friend group. Like we all were at different schools. It was just a weird transitional period. So it was like latching on to whatever I could latch on to, like his family, his friends, like always being involved in his life. It was like encompassing my life, and it was like you completely lose who you are and what you're trying to go for.
Gotta be your own person.
Yeah, and it's like you hear that, and it's not until like the moment it actually sinks in what that means.
You know, I was thinking about a little bit this week is, hang on, I'm losing it. Shit, bring it back.
I hate that.
The idea of like understanding, right? So it's like, if I wanted to show you guys how to break dance, and I know everything about break dancing, I could show you how to break dance and then say, okay, now you do it. And you get it wrong 100 times, and I'm saying you're doing it wrong. And you could say, why don't you just teach me? And I'm like, I am teaching you. You're not getting it. You're going to get frustrated. You're going to say he's a shitty teacher. But at some point, there might be this fork in the road, right? Where you either walk away from it or you keep going after it. And both paths are okay, because breakdancing's not for everyone. But if you choose to pursue breakdancing to get the move, eventually you're going to practice it enough to where you're going to be like, oh shit, this is what I was doing wrong. I was doing this one thing mechanically wrong, and now it makes
you need time.
Now it makes so much sense, because that's what it's for me. And it's one of those things to where you can say you got to be your own person to everyone in this room, but to everyone in this room, it's a little different.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you got to let them kind of fucking fall in the mud and pick themselves up and be like, okay, do you want to keep going?
Well,
and
they're so afraid of falling. Like, we're all so afraid of, like, messing up.
That's a good point, too. That's
so
a good
it's
point,
like,
too.
We're not going to end up figuring out what it is that we're supposed to be doing if we're so... It's like all the same cliches. Like, you have to fail in order to find out. And it's like, once you get to that point... But you're
protecting yourself from really failing.
Yes,
you know, from
exactly.
really putting yourself out there and really, like, fucking up, you know? Because I've had this conversation with Oscar. He's like, Alec, do you think you've ever really fucked up? And I was like, no.
He's one of our really good friends.
Yeah, Oscar's a really good friend of ours.
No.
And I was like, no. And he's like, I think I have. And I was like, no, you haven't.
No, you haven't.
And I was like, what do you think fucking up is, bro? Like, between you and me, like, what do you think fucking up is? He's like, Alec, I think fucking up is like, if I ever did something to piss you off and you just stop talking to me. And I lean in and I'm like, bro, I'm talking to you right now.
Yeah.
So you haven't fucked up with me.
Fucking idiot.
I don't know what you fucked up in. I don't know why you feel this way, but I can tell you firsthand, it's not the reality.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're right. There might also
What's
be
their
that
perception? It's like,
yeah,
it's their mind. They're projecting their own insecurity on it. It's like, these are all things I've heard, these like phrases, and it didn't click until you just start doing
until
this
you
work
fucked up,
on your,
or
exactly,
until
exactly.
you really go handle it.
Yeah, like when I was in Portland, I was just telling him about it. Like right when I got there, well, when it all happened, I was like, I know I'm moving here for me. Like I'm gonna be independent. Like I'm making this big move.
Then you move there and you're like, I was just lying to myself
100%. And I was lying to everybody.
You're like, I could have done
myself.
anything else and it would have been so much healthier and
it
saved
made me
time
feel
and
guilty
money.
around all these my friends because I knew deep down how I actually felt. I knew that I was just like putting up this front to look like I could do something on my own. In reality, like what was great was the fact that I came back. Like that was actually way more independent.
Swallowed your pride.
Yes.
Let me try and pick this apart a little bit. Do you think it's one of those things where you face this challenge or hurdle or consequence of adversity, and it's one of those things you just like, I want to show everyone I'm okay. So it's like a display. Like I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna post.
I don't want anyone to worry about me.
I'm gonna post this. I'm gonna post this thing on Facebook or Instagram, and I'm gonna say, "Hey, look at me. I'm doing strong. This and that." And you did that, but instead of posting to Instagram, you moved to Oregon, and then you move to Oregon, and you find out like more about yourself, and you're like, "Oh shit, not the move. Here's the move. Go back." And it turns out the move you had to make was being vulnerable, being honest, and being like, "Look, fucked up." And now also it's like not doing it on social media. I obviously I don't know too much about you. It's our first time meeting, but you know, whatever you posted to say I'm moving to Oregon, this and that, whatever charade or play you put on.
You mean like prior, like before?
Prior to that, and then moving back, you're just like, you're coming back, you're like, yo, I fucked up, and like that's the thing you needed. It wasn't the show, or it wasn't the moving to Oregon. It wasn't this, that, or the other thing. It was the humble return.
Dude, exactly. And I never would have, if I didn't go to Oregon, I never would have come full circle though. Like I had to go there, and like that was me sitting in the shit. That was me going through like the deepest, darkest moment of my life. I was alone. Like I had nothing else to do but deal with my demons. And
but move to Oregon.
Exactly. I'm like, and it wasn't until I got back. Like, that first decision, it wasn't like all of a sudden, oh, I was good, I moved back to Arizona. It was like, okay, I'm in Arizona now. And, like, actually the craziest part about it was, like, the first month, I was living with my friend. Like, I was just, like, staying at her place in this little studio. But then I started living with my biological dad. And living with him and my stepmom and all my half-siblings. And, like, they've never been a part of my life before. Like, we've always, like holidays, seeing each other. Like, we all know we love each other, but, like, that depth was never there.
Established.
Like, yeah.
I know exactly what you mean.
So it's, like, and I always wanted them to know that I was making good choices. Like, I was good. Like, I never wanted them to worry about me. I never wanted, like, anytime I did see them, like, I always was, like, I guess on my best behavior. And
You weren't really yourself.
I was never myself. And then, like, living with them and, like, after, like, lacking that, like, family foundation that I had needed for the past, like, few years after the divorce, it was reestablished and I like found morals and a foundation again. Like that is like something I'm so key on. It's because it's like if I don't know like the base of where I'm at, then my decision making is so blurry and I don't know why I'm doing anything. If there's no why behind my actions, then I'm just kind of like floating around. I'm like, oh, this feels great, but like it's just like a brief moment. It's
But where are
very
you going?
Exactly.
Let me propose a hypothetical. So let's say you are around your family and your family doesn't approve of who you are. Let's say you are being yourself for the first time around your family and your family's like, who is this bitch? You know.
Yeah.
And you're just like, this is me. And you're really comfortable. You're really excited about, you know, just feeling like you're being honest for the first time and your family's rejecting it. Mm-hmm. How do you think that would play out? And how do you think is a way someone should deal with that?
Well, I love that question because I'm so lucky because my family has been so accepting.
For the people's families who are not accepting.
I know. It's funny because that's all I think about because I have a lot of friends who don't have that same
luxury.
And when I have my wins and I tell them about like, oh, this happened and this was this was powerful for me. And my friends can be vulnerable enough with me to be like, man, like honestly hearing this is making me a little envious because like I'm not having those same wins. And I'm like, I get that, but you're having like, people can only meet you so far. Everyone's at a different spot in their life. And I think understanding that we're all constantly in a different mind space, like they're not going to be able to comprehend like the self-healing that we're all on this path of. So if you can just like understand that they're trying, or that the fact that they just don't really grasp what it is that you've been learning about yourself, you'll just start finding more acceptance within you. And it sucks because it's not like another person, but you just like focusing in on like.
See, that's my dilemma too. the part where you just stop.
It sucks, but you have to just like suck it up. You're like, it's supposed to suck. Like it's not gonna like be an easy path. Like
sometimes you have to just move.
You have to deal with it, and you're just gonna. I hate the cheesy. You're gonna be stronger because of it.
Yeah.
But you kind of have to just deal, and you can't stop trying. Like you literally cannot stop trying. There's a lot of relationships that I want to improve, and for instance, like integrating my families, both of my dads, both of my moms, like. That's an awkward move. Like, I'm very lucky that they're considering it, like, all being one big family. But I know those first few meetings, probably for, like, maybe a couple of years, like, I already know they're awkward. Like, I already know they suck. Like, nobody gets it. Nobody's on the we're not on the same level, but you have to do it. You just, like, have to sit in it. And I think that if you are doing the work in yourself and you're, like, mentally strong enough to handle it, then you can just keep handling the situations and you're going to learn from it. And just kind of like suck it up. You have to sit in the awkward, like sit in the awkward silence, sit in that awkward like small talk that you just have to do. But just know on the other side that if you keep doing it, it's just going to get more vulnerable. People will feel more open to being vulnerable.
Yeah. That's one thing I've learned to myself is that it's okay to say nothing.
Yeah.
It's okay to be quiet.
I was always that problem. But.
I was always that kid.
Case in point.
Yeah. Well, Josh has learned this way before I have, but I was always that kid who was like just talking a mile a minute, and I still am sometimes, but
oh god, yes.
But for the most part it was to put on that show. It was to be the kid who's like, make sure you're always saying something, and you know.
Was it like an entertaining thing you wanted to make
absolutely.
Sure everyone? Yeah, I understand.
It was like it wasn't like necessarily a center of attention. It was like
making sure everyone's
if these guys are bored with me, they're never gonna want to hang out again.
Oh wow, yeah.
It was more like I need to do whatever I can to retain whatever is currently happening because I like this and I want to make sure I still have this. So if I have to run around and scream or act like an idiot, then I'm going to do that. If I have to say something that's, you know, out of pocket or tongue in cheek, I'm going to do it because I feel like I have to.
But then it's like, it makes you come across like you have no depth to you. You're just kind of like that spazzy kid. Because like, that's how I was growing up. It was like, no one took me seriously because I was constantly, it wasn't, you're right, it's not like the spotlight attention thing. It was just kind of like, I liked that I could make everyone else feel comfortable by me being loud and crazy.
By being the in my case, the guy that everyone like was annoyed by
Yeah.
at times. It was like
But they needed you there. Like that's the thing is like they need you to feel comfortable. Like
you're
they
the
don't-
annoying piece of the puzzle.
Yeah, like it sucks. It's kind of like you don't really you matter, but you are just making them feel better about themselves. And
Well, it's been really nice meeting you.
You matter. You're just not important to
matter.
their narrative.
You
get
matter,
it,
but
you
your
get
childhood was a lie.
it was
and,
a lie.
I hope you
I
know
hate
you
to
don't
break
fit
it
in.
to you. You needed to know. Someone needed to tell
Well,
you.
thanks. I think the appropriate response is moving to Oregon and
Yeah,
finding myself.
You'll figure it out.
I'll figure
I
that
recommend
out.
that to everybody.
In the,
Move.
in the winter.
Yeah.
Would you recommend moving to Oregon or like a city? Have you lived in the city? Where do you live in Arizona? Like,
Right now, where do I live in Arizona?
do you live in a populated area?
I live
like
in Scottsdale.
Scottsdale? Is it
Yeah.
like a city? I don't know. Like big. I know LA is like a big city.
Scottsdale
Do you live
is
in a
like our
populated
Thousand
city?
Oaks.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's like a suburb kind of.
Yes, for
Okay.
sure. But then like I grew up in North Phoenix, which is more suburby. Scottsdale's like a little nicer, and then
Scottsdale's super nice.
super nice. And then, but for the past like 5 years, I was living in like downtown Phoenix, which is like that like edgy,
So
cutesy kind of scene.
got it. What
Yeah.
I think I'm trying to ask is like, do you think it's better to like get like a culture shock almost, where it's like if you live in a city, move to the country. If you live in the country, move to the city. Or is it like if you live in the city, move to a different city? Or if you live in the country, move to a different country?
I think that what was cool about you gotta try different things. Like if there was anything that I did appreciate about me moving to Portland, it was the fact that it was like a city. Like I had to take the bus, and that was new for me. Like I'm used to like taking my car.
That already
everywhere,
sounds like way too much work.
it is, but you learn so much patience. You just are like, oh, I have to like plan out my day, and you spend way less money because like for me, I can't sit still at home. I have to like drive somewhere, and like I just will end up shopping for like furniture or food. Like that's all I do. And that was like my purpose for like the longest time, and it was just so empty. That's how I got like so depressed, because it was like there was no point. It was just like I couldn't sit still, so I'm like I have to go spend money. And then when I moved to Portland, didn't have money, didn't have a job for a long time, and I didn't have a car. I didn't know
clean slate.
anybody. I'm like, I don't know where to eat. I'm like, I don't know where I am. Like, I don't know anything. And it's cold. You don't want to be outside. Like, I remember
cold
being
as
on the
shit.
phone, and my hand, like, actually froze after, like, an hour of talking on the phone. Like, I couldn't move my hand for, like, literally 45 minutes. I was like, okay, like, this place sucks. Like, I'm
Damn.
not into it. But the bus time, like, you have time to read, and you have time to write, and listening to music was, like, that was the only thing that like sustained me. Like I would wake up and I felt okay because I knew that I could like listen to an album the entire bus ride.
Portland's a pretty creative city.
Yeah, it is. It's just
Keep Portland weird.
It is weird.
Those
It's
hipsters.
It's funny because most of the people that you meet, like, they're not from there. They're all from all over.
A
Mostly
lot of people from
California.
LA aren't from fucking LA. They moved to
Really?
LA.
Where do they? Well, everyone that's in Portland is from LA, and I'm like, why?
That sounds
That's
about right
pretty
too.
they're
fucking-
like
that's pretty
trying to
fucking
be
meta.
like edgy. Yeah.
The thing is, I bet you those people who moved to Portland from LA are the people who moved to LA from somewhere else, being
Exactly.
like, I want to be LA.
Then they're like, oh wait, this is like too
It's overdone.
pretentious, so like I have to go be edgier. I have to go like live in like a dirty, grungy
Everyone's-
basement in Portland. Like I
Yeah.
have to know what it's like. And I'm like, you don't. Like some
Like,
people actually have that experience. Like that's how they were raised. And like
Yeah.
you have to give them that. Like you don't have to go deal with it. Go just deal with your own things.
I got a friend who did that. She moved to San Francisco, and she was like, I lived in a woman's basement next to her water heater in her washing
real.
machine for a year because I thought I wanted to live in San Francisco. And she's like, and that place is a shithole. She's like, I hate
No,
it there.
literally.
Everyone there is rude. Everyone's there's always
It's
a
a pipe
protest.
dream.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a pipe dream.
It's
You've
really
seen
one
in
of those things.
movies,
Like I think the term's bleeding heart. Like if you're like really young and passionate, you want to
Yes.
go like
Yes.
lead a movement. It's like I gotta go to San
New
Francisco.
York, Portland, San Francisco.
That's one of those places you
Yeah.
gotta go.
And then
it's
Probably
get
why I was
crushed.
so yeah.
she
Real early.
she
You're like,
she
wow,
moved
this is intense.
she moved back and she's like, I realized I'm not the person I thought I was.
That's the perfect way of putting it.
Yeah.
Like, Portland
She's like, I
was
thought-
like so. I thought that was me. I thought it was Portland, and everyone's like, "Oh, like Chase, so Portland." And then I got there. I was like, "Wow, if I'm anything, it's not this.
It's not this fucking
Like,
place,
it's
yeah.
not this place."
And I think that's super important. Is the reoccurring theme is like it's important to be like, okay, I don't fit in here.
Yeah.
I know who I am because I know I don't belong here.
Yes.
I don't like anything here. I don't like the cold. I don't like that I don't have a car. I like taking the bus, and when you said that, it reminded me of like every movie scene ever of like the main character like taking the bus home and like listening to music or like
That's
or,
all
like,
I was trying to be. I
or,
was
like-
just like my own music video.
or like working on their screenplay, and I'm like, yo,
Yeah.
And a
That-
Starbucks.
that's kind of the life I want. But it's like one of those things like if I go and just chase that just so I could sit on the bus and like
Just for that one moment.
yeah, and it's like I've sat on a bus enough, so it's like, do I really have to go and chase this one thing to become a screenwriter or an actor?
It'll
Or,
be you and 20 people in one Starbucks all writing the
Yeah.
same plot.
It's like we all see it in a movie, so we think that's like what the path is to
That's
get
what
there.
you-
But I'm like,
yeah.
everyone's path is different. Like you could actually just be like, you could be a soccer player. Like you just like to play softball with your friends on the weekend, and you also like to screenwrite. Like
Most
you don't
people-
have to be that deep. Like
Most people who end up in the NFL, fun fact, play lacrosse or basketball in college.
They all have college degrees.
not football.
and then they play in the NFL.
And then they play in the NFL because they're athletic people.
And
Yeah.
They all
Not-
have college degrees.
Not because of the sports they play, but because at one time someone from the NFL goes, that person's athletic.
They'll
And
figure
if
it
you're
out.
if you're athletic, you could play any sport.
Absolutely.
So it's like we need someone who's 6'5" and can, stand on their tippy toes as
Yeah.
a tight end.
And they train them ballet.
And then they train you
Yep,
ballet,
yep, yep.
and it's like, and then you're going on to be like a 5-star tight end.
Well, it's like if you're so focused on one little thing, it's like
You gotta let the water flow.
yeah, you have to let every part of your life integrate, and then that's how you find your purpose of what you're supposed to be doing.
What are you supposed to be doing?
I was gonna say that was a
That's a
What,
great
what do
question.
you want to do?
where's your water flowing to this day? Is it one of those things where like after this whole experience, you've kind of been like, okay, well now I know, or is it one of those things like I'm still kind of just
You
It's
know,
okay to not know.
well, that's the
I've
thing,
been at the
like-
same community college for 6 years.
Hell yeah. We take your time. Like there's no rush. Like literally it's like doing it to just like get it done is like you're not really taking in what you're supposed to be doing.
I got a lot of friends who've graduated college from UCLA or really
Are in a lot of debt. Like probably are working
not
at Starbucks.
not
still,
only
like-
that, but they're like, I don't know what to do with this degree. They
No.
can't get a job. They don't
Yeah.
they don't want to get a job in the field.
No.
And they're just like, I don't know, like they're lucky they have their mom and dad still because they're still living at home.
Dude, like the thing now
they
is
don't
like
know what to
everyone's.
do.
I'm about to live with my mom. Like her and I just
Go for it.
We just got an apartment in like Arcadia, so we're pretty stoked about that. But I think this whole season that I've been in and just like understanding myself has made me so much more content with not knowing what I want to do. If anything, I know
You know you don't like the cold.
I don't like the cold. I studied journalism, so I was doing like photojournalism
I
for a
knew
bit. And I
Okay. anything else you want to confess to knowing about her before she came on the podcast?
I was gonna say, like, we'll check the box as we go.
Yeah, no shit.
Because I remember you wanted to do something in Hawaii. And you
Wow, look at you.
I gave
Yeah.
you money for that.
Oh,
What? That's
I
how
probably
he
owe
remembers.
you money.
He's like,
I
you owe me
probably
money.
owe you money.
You owe me money or a newspaper
Oh my
article.
God,
You
got
promised me
called
one.
out. That's hilarious.
I don't say you owe me anything.
I'm gonna give you some money. After
donated
this.
to
that
There's no
campaign. But some
way
money
I
would be
can't
dope.
now.
Because I
I
like
think I remember what you gave me too. I think you only like 15 or 20 bucks.
I like-
She
25,
said,
something
I
like
think
that.
you only gave me 15 or 20
No,
bucks.
no,
She said
no.
your
I
broke
was
ass
I was probably the
only
only
gave
person.
me 15 or 20 bucks.
You were not the only person.
It's because
to
I'm a-
everyone who gave me money, just
she
know
she
it's
will
official
issue a
now. The
full
whole world knows
refund.
I
It's
owe
all
you.
good.
I just like to
I
see
raised
people
$200.
that
Damn.
I know
For what,
doing
journalism?
something
Just
that
write a
they
book.
want to do.
Yeah,
Okay.
So like
I
I saw that and I was
appreciate
like, that's pretty fucking cool. She's chasing her dreams.
dude. Thank
here's,
you.
Here's money.
I'm
Do
gonna-
what you want.
I'm gonna
If you
give you some money.
if you want to do something like that, I'll give you money.
I'll
You
give you
definitely
money
have
too.
already, so
Exactly.
don't even trip.
I was gonna have an internship in, I think in Kona, but then like it was during the same time as the volcano, and I like flew in and I couldn't see anything. Like there was smoke everywhere.
Could you tell us what Kona is?
It's an island.
It's an island.
Could-
in
can-
Hawaii. It's like
can
the
you,
main. It's the
Chase,
main.
tell us what Kona is?
It's an island.
they make coffee.
Okay.
They do. They have
Some of
the.
them
What's
have
going on with the
exports.
volcano? I
They
was
have this brewery.
no way.
Yeah. Was it
Kona Brewery
we already
Company.
we already drank their beer
Yeah, we drink the big wave.
Shout out.
and their I said lava spurter
That is what it is.
volcano
yes. Just another
and
word
their
for it.
volcano erupted while
Yeah,
you were there.
it was actually like there was literally lava coming out of it. So when I was there, it just seemed like, well, kind of use it as an excuse. Kind of like the Portland COVID thing. I was like, I had to come back because of COVID, and then more vulnerable. I was like, no, I had to come back. But then
I just fucking hate
with
it
the
there.
Hawaii thing, I was like, man, the volcano. I'm so scared. I have like what do I have? I have I have some disease. I have chronic tonsillitis and chronic, I really do, bronchitis. So I was like, oh, my lungs are bad. I can't. There's no way.
Gang.
Yeah. But then at the same time, this internship, 40 hours a week, unpaid in Hawaii.
Fuck that.
So I was like,
internships in
volcano.
California are paid now.
Really?
Everything's paid in California
They, like,
right now.
have to be?
It's legally binding. You have to pay.
Fuck yeah.
You have to pay your interns now.
That's actually crazy.
So if you get an internship out in California at like a studio,
what, $9
or,
an hour?
I think it's 15,
Okay.
The minimum wage in LA is 15.
Oh wow.
and
I think
it's going up.
really.
Yeah.
That's good to know. I probably could.
Stay
I could
outta
go
here.
For an internship.
Stay the fuck.
Don't come here.
Everyone who's moving from LA to Texas, stay the fuck in Texas. Everyone stay out of
Wait,
California.
can I
Yo.
come here though?
If you want.
You're already here. What do you
Low-key,
mean?
Go to Texas. It's a lot cheaper for the same shit.
Go to Texas. I don't care.
Austin.
No more
Yeah.
fucking people in California. You guys are
Wow.
the fucking worst.
We're on fire right
You
now.
ruined it for all of us. We're burning down.
Literally.
Lava
Everything
skewers
is
over
on
here.
fire.
The sky was orange. Did you see the sky was orange in
No,
Oregon?
I
I
was-
saw a few
I
viral
wasn't
videos.
there when that happened, but it looked pretty like.
It was worse than here.
apocalyptic,
It looked worse than here for sure, but
Really?
basically that's where we are right now in California. So stay the fuck out.
Oh.
And also stop blowing shit up in vacant lots. And what happened? It was a
Gender reveal.
It was a gender reveal. So a
Oh,
gender
that's
reveal.
right,
the
that's
fires
right.
we're facing right now all started from a gender reveal party.
Yo, was it a boy or a girl though?
Apparently that happens
Well,
a
red's
lot.
a boy
and I'm
color.
Like, are people just constantly? Well, I've heard somebody told me the other day that like, yeah, gender reveals are actually like a cause of a lot of fires. I'm like,
Yeah.
not 4th of July, like not.
Well, those are ran by like big companies with licenses who have pyrotechnic experience.
What are people are doing fireworks for gender reveals?
They like shoot propane
It's like
tanks.
flares.
Yeah, they like shoot propane tanks
Smoke
and it
bombs.
blows up.
It's just not
It's-
worth it.
it's
Like
not.
you can
Yeah,
just cut
no.
a piece of cake if you really care that
Like,
bad. If what your
I
baby's
think
gonna
like
be.
80 houses have burnt to the ground.
More than that. It's
And like the state
like
of Ohio's
thousands of
been burned in
acres.
acreage. Like
Wow.
yeah, California turns out really big place.
Wow. Turns out.
Turns out.
Who knew?
Turns out long stretchy state,
Long stretchy state.
and there's plenty of shit to burn
Low key, pretty nice though.
when it's not on fire.
Yeah, what's like the essence of Camarillo? Like, what is?
Farms.
I love it out
Farms
here.
and dirty water.
Let me tell you real
Oh,
quick.
okay.
I've lived in a few places in California.
Like,
Camarillo is by far the best. I've lived in
We-
Reseda.
all we have is the outlets.
I've lived. It's
Oh,
bullshit.
that.
I've lived in Reseda, which is the valley.
Uh-huh.
I live in Moore Park currently, which is on the ass crack of the valley.
Okay.
All of that is shit.
You
All
got
of
a
that is
college
the
out
worst
there.
place. College is okay. It's fine for college.
What
but
college?
Moore
Moore
Park
Park.
Community College,
So-
one of the top-rated community colleges in California.
Really?
That's their
It's number one actually
the
now
claim to fame.
because it's the
Oh.
only one in
Are they
California
known for
with a
something
zoo.
like specific?
We have a fucking zoo.
We have a zoo.
You have there's its own zoo.
We have
a
in
zoo.
the community
It's the
college.
it's
Wow.
We have
one of
lions and
it's one of
tigers.
2 teaching zoos in the United States.
Oh, sweet. That's
I
pretty
think the
cool.
only thing we don't have is like a giraffe.
It's the only public zoo
not worth it then,
in
honestly.
Yeah.
Ventura
Like, how
County.
was that voted number one?
It's free.
I don't
It's free
know.
for students.
That's
Yeah.
pretty sweet.
Yeah,
That's enough
pretty
to make
cool.
me want to go
So,
there.
I do.
Okay, I get it.
But that's all like the valley, and the valley's like a lot of drug addicts and a lot of like, just like
Meth.
people get shitty really quick.
Meth.
Meth. People get really shitty out there real quick, and it's probably because of the meth.
Probably. That would make sense.
Out here, it's really nice. There's like a lot of palm trees. There's the airport. There's the outlets. There's a ton of bars. There's a diverse dining experience. We can go get chow mein.
Yeah, I saw Denny's with a patio like on my way here. It was a little makeshift patio, but like
We've walked there many a night.
Yeah.
really, what's the atmosphere like? It seems pretty intimate.
It's
At night?
pretty chill.
Yeah.
Fucking terrible.
Oh,
I don't know.
Really?
Well, we haven't been there since COVID, but
Yeah.
like 3 a.m. Denny's, drunk as shit.
We could do a bar crawl here in Camarillo, which is why I love it.
We have a route.
So we do a bar
I
crawl.
would love to hear it.
And then we end up at like In-N-Out or Denny's or somewhere eating food.
Of course, yeah.
And it's like anywhere from like you could eat Denny's or like there's a really good Chinese place. There's the what's the soup called?
From the Chinese
Lo
place?
mein or
Ramen?
is it pronounced lo mein?
I'm not gonna lie, I
Lo
don't
mein
know.
is a noodle dish.
Lo mein. There's like
Like wonton soup, egg drop soup.
yeah, there's like Chinese food you can get.
At the Chinese restaurant, they have Chinese
Yeah.
food. That's wow.
I know,
That's
right?
crazy.
What the fuck? And there's like
Camarillo, man.
but okay.
Camarillo is like the
I like the
American
Chinese-
dream.
It
I-
sounds like
I like the
Denny's
Chinese
with the
food.
patio. That's what it did it for me.
Well, that's just because of
There's
COVID
a-
right
I
now.
know.
There's a
I
fucking
know.
fish house over by my Target.
Oh, dude,
Lure?
Lure. Yeah.
They have the
Fuck
nicest
yeah, dude.
fucking patio set
You
up
gotta
there.
see that.
Really? Does it have like the twinkly lights?
Yeah,
They
I'm not even
do.
kidding. Before you go to the beach,
I know
just
it's
drive past
cheesy,
it.
but you gotta have the twinkly
It's
lights.
environment. It's
It is the
environment.
ambiance.
For $30
Yes.
a dish, I fucking want those twinkly lights.
Yeah, the fuck you better.
It's $30 a day.
Oh my god,
seafood.
everything is expensive over
We're
there.
10 minutes from
But
the
is it
ocean.
like fried seafood?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, I was like,
It's
this
like-
is
No,
not-
it's fucking seafood. It's
What's it
like
called?
caught today.
Lure.
lure.
Yeah.
Lure.
Like on the end of the fishing
I
pole.
get it. I get it now.
We're
it's
10 minutes
addicting.
from the ocean, so we get like the
That's nice.
freshest seafood.
Do you guys surf?
No.
No, I boogie board.
Okay. I boogie board. I do a little bodyboarding. Yeah, pretty sweet.
That's what you got to do.
Why aren't you surfing? You have no excuse not to.
I was poor
I have
growing up,
this.
so
Oh, yes.
didn't have money for surfboards. Turns out
True.
hella expensive in lessons.
I stay inside.
You're. Oh,
The
wow.
outside is scary.
I understand.
Yeah, it's one of those things. That's one of those California stereotypes. Is like, why don't you surf? Why don't you skateboard? It's like it's one of those things.
I'm
like,
not tan.
Yeah, I
Pe-
think you're naturally. You have like that natural olive complexion.
I can
You
catch
can-
a tan.
you can
I
get tan pretty
I bet
quick.
you're out there for like 2 hours and you're like,
Yeah.
you don't get sunburnt. That's
Yeah.
probably.
I burn.
I can tell.
I do.
Just had a feel.
I
Damn.
do, but my burns turn into
You're turning
really
savage
nice
real
tans.
quick. You haven't even had a beer yet. You're just all loose.
I
You're just
know.
ready to go.
It's the coffee.
All right.
She's getting comfortable.
I know, right?
That's the whole
I told
point.
you it happened.
It would.
How long do
I
you think
know.
we've been going?
I didn't wear my Apple Watch.
Holy
today,
shit.
But
Neither am mine. Mine's
what
charging.
time is it? How long has it been?
We've been going
51
for
minutes.
50 minutes.
Oh wow,
That shit
It
flew
goes
by.
by like that.
that's crazy. Actually,
Exactly.
we can talk that long. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Impressive. I got so much more to say.
That's the whole point.
Yeah, I mean, we usually
Guests usually go 2 hours.
We usually go 2 hours, so we got another hour, 3 hours
Sweet.
if you want. I mean,
I
you're
think that we
you're
gotta
from
start hearing
Arizona.
from Josh though. Like,
Yeah,
hello.
you've been super
Hello.
quiet.
It's because you guys have been having a nice dialogue.
We have, but
And-
we want to hear from you now.
Hi, my name is Josh.
Hi, Josh.
I'm one of the two dudes. I drink
Hi,
beer.
dude.
I'm on
Nice.
beer number 3.
I'm on beer number 2.
Where do you feel like mentally on beer number 3? Like, what is it?
Pretty good.
You don't. It doesn't phase you yet.
I could still drive.
for sure.
I mean,
Awesome.
Like if I had one, I'd probably be like you know that feeling.
A little tipsy.
It's like,
I'm
yeah.
also like, if I were to stand up and get my blood flowing, it'd probably be.
Mm. If you stood
I'd
up, like
get,
all
like,
the blood would, like
hit
rush
by, like,
your-
a truck.
Yeah,
Usually how it happens.
probably. Are you into? Is it just beer that you guys like? Or are you into like whiskey too?
I love whiskey.
I can't do whiskey by
Love me
itself.
some fucking
yet.
whiskey.
I'm not
Not
that
yet?
much of an adult.
You'll get there. You'll get there for sure. I mean, I like it by itself. I like it with ice, and apparently, like that's not by itself. Like I've been told, like,
People-
no, straight when it's
snobs are the
hot.
worst.
Like,
Here's what I've learned over all my years of drinking.
okay,
People who tell you how to drink can go fuck themselves.
I agree 100%. I'm like,
Those
I
people,
know what I
100%.
like.
Those people, 100%, are the people who sit at the bar and say, "Do you know you're
they're
drinking?"
projecting.
Mhm.
They're projecting.
That person's in an abusive relationship right now,
Yes.
and they're trying to be like, "Help me, person who's drinking a Bud Light. I think Bud Light's gay, and for people who
Yes, I know.
who wear stupid clothes at bar." I'm trying not to be too
I know.
crazy.
It's the White Claw thing too. When people judge you for drinking White Claw,
Yeah,
like,
dude,
like, look, they're just like
they're
they
good.
are low calorie.
They're good. Who cares?
Yes, and they taste pretty decent.
Who
Like,
cares? Fuck off. They're good.
Mango's refreshing. Like it's
They're
like a
good.
summer day.
It should.
can I
It,
say?
it shouldn't be anything. No one ever says, "Why'd you buy the Ferrari?" and expected an answer more than, "I like Ferraris."
Exactly.
So if you see me drinking a Bud Light or a White Claw, fuck off.
I'm gonna be like, dude, good for you. Like you have no shame. Like you just really just did whatever you wanted to do, and that speaks way more volume than the guy who's like, I prefer to have my bourbon just straight up lukewarm or room temperature. I'm like, okay, like I don't want to hang out with you.
Like it's like anything though. It's like beer snobs or Josh talk.
So
You can't.
I'm so sorry.
I can't do this another
We're
hour.
both we just keep talking.
I know,
We can't
it's
help
okay.
it. That's our personality.
I've
Yeah.
learned from a project we used to do that putting ice with your whiskey brings out more of the flavor.
That's 100% true.
So whoever doesn't like it with ice is misinformed.
I like that you said misinformed, not wrong, because it's all subjective. However you like to drink. It's,
Well, that's the thing. What I'm saying too is like, obviously, if someone came up to you and was like, "Hey, here's the thing though, I've been approached by people being like, "Hey, you're drinking it wrong," and my immediate like fucking visceral reaction is, "Fuck you! Let me drink. Let me drink. Let me drink. Let me drink. Leave me alone. I didn't come here to get yelled at by a fucking dude telling me I'm drinking wrong." But if Josh came up to me in a bar and he's a stranger, he's like, "You ever put ice in that whiskey?"
That's a different approach.
I'd be like, "No," because
Try
that's
it.
polite.
Exactly.
Try it.
A single
Well,
ice
it's like
cube.
the same. It's the same concept, but
But it's a better energy.
Exactly.
It's a nicer way. There's always a nice way to do it.
Well,
And there's
yeah.
so many people who don't do shit the nice way, and it's not that hard.
You have to just. That is when. Okay, this is kind of like the mental health thing. It's like your ego is. If you can like soften your ego, like you're way more approachable,
Nope.
and people will.
Can't do it.
You have to.
Put some ice in that fucking whiskey, boy.
No, it's
I'm all
like people
ego.
can receive so much more, and if you want, this
It'll make them listen. They'll actually do what you want them
It sounds
to.
manipulative, like by doing that, but
But if your intent
you're
is
not
the
going to be as
same,
defensive and mad if you approach it that way. Like you won't like hold attachment to your belief if you can just like soften yourself.
yeah. But at the end of the day, if you're really just trying to help someone, being like,
Can't do
"Hey,
it.
I think you'd enjoy the whiskey more by putting ice in it," you could be a
That's
dick.
all- yeah, that's
you
all
could
I'm
be a
saying.
dick and be like, "Yo, put ice in it. You're doing it wrong. My grandpappy told me to put ice in my whiskey."
He created whiskey.
Or
Yeah.
or yeah, or
He
you,
told me how to do it.
or you could be like, "Hey, have you ever tried that with ice in it?"
And they're
The-
like,
the
no,
end-
I'm like, oh, it's good. You don't have to. But
The end result's the same.
exactly.
So it's just the approach. It's not like it's not manipulation because
No.
when you think about it, manipulation is saying you're doing it wrong. Do it this way. Mm-hmm. It's 100% manipulation.
Yeah, I want you to make the choice yourself and then appreciate it that you made that decision,
Yeah.
not because I told you to do something.
100%. It's saying if you put ice in it, you're doing it wrong, or you have to. Anything like that, manipulation. If
Yeah.
you're saying, hey, if you tried it with ice, you might like it. It tastes
might.
better,
You might.
and people would be more
Open.
open.
Yeah. They would soften. Their guard would go down. Your guard
And
goes down.
it goes back to what I said.
Vulnerable,
You gotta be
exactly.
like a little vulnerable.
You can never let your guard down.
You have to. Oh, Josh, we
nope.
maybe have to really dive into this area.
No.
I know. I'm like, where's
Let's
this?
go deep over
Where are we
here.
going,
Never
man?
100% down.
Why
Your
not?
guard always has to stay up.
Why?
Why not?
So you don't.
Who
get,
hurt you?
So you don't get killed.
Who's
Is
gonna
that-
kill you? Who's out to kill you?
Remember Gus?
Yeah.
Guard is never down now. I'm never 100% down.
Look, man, you don't run through the jungle and not expect to hit at least one or two bear traps.
Where are bear traps in the jungle?
Because there's bears in the jungle.
Why not just
Jaguar
fucking
trap.
landmines?
Either or.
Throw it back to Vietnam.
It depends on what jungle
Shouts
you're
out
in,
to
I guess.
Vietnam.
Josh, no, really. Why?
What's that?
Why can't you let your guard down?
He's deflecting, isn't he?
I
This
don't
is a
like
mental
to- I
thing.
don't want to get hurt.
What are you
You
afraid
know?
of?
A lot of things. The outside world is scary.
No,
Chase,
come on,
okay?
come on. Like what?
Okay, so look, Chase, if we were saying put ice in your whiskey, are we doing... hear me out. Are we doing that right now to Josh? Are we saying put ice in the whiskey? Or is there a better way to say, hey...
There is a better. It's you ask questions. I'm just gonna ask. Like, yeah, how? Why? The why is actually a really profound question. You can.
It is.
You can
Makes
really.
people sweat.
You ask why, and then you shut
that's
up.
just
You
because there's
stop
four
talking.
bodies with a bunch of
Oh,
electronics in the room.
I'm chilling. I'm just saying. But like when you keep asking someone like why, and then just get nervous.
Yeah.
Oh.
The nervous.
Why?
sweat. Shut the fuck up. How about that?
Okay, but why?
Why do I have
Oh
to shut the
my
fuck up,
God.
Josh?
He's getting hot, sweaty.
I have hyperhidrosis. How dare you?
Wow.
He's deflecting again.
Leave me alone.
You can hear him breathing in his mic.
So, you just don't like going outside? Are you afraid?
I don't mind the outside. I just don't like being alone outside.
You got me.
You know, that's funny. I can't tell too much about my life, but I'll give you like a little bit. That's something I had like feared a lot around probably the fall of last year.
If I may, real quick, I'm surprised you opened up about your journey to Oregon and back and your ex-boyfriend so quickly. I'm like, oh shit, what is she withholding right now? Because I won't talk about my ex-girlfriends or my experience moving to another state, but anything else is on the table.
You
but,
know as much as I do.
But I'm like, oh geez.
This isn't something that caused me pain. It's like I had to be open about the painful moments to like get to where I'm at. This is just we can talk later.
For
but
sure.
the alone outside thing, like that was something that I really struggled with a lot. Like I guess it's like
Men fuck it up for a lot of people.
that it like in Oregon especially, like walking down the street
Why would I knuckle
alone.
that?
Hell yeah, dude.
Hey, men are shit, bro. Yeah.
They're
Basura
really the
boys.
reason of my crippling anxiety.
No one knuckled that. So like, low key,
Just leave it
my
up
ego
there.
is super hurt.
I didn't hear what you said.
Well, yeah, what do you... I always, like, wonder, like, I know that I have something to fear. I mean, yeah, I'm like, like a woman by myself. Like I'm so afraid of like being kidnapped, like sex trafficking, all of that stuff terrifies me.
That's all 100% valid.
Exactly. But I mean, at some extent, you have to just like, yeah, that's possible. But like a lot of things are possible. So
well, it's kind of like going outside right now with COVID, right? Like I still.
True,
I don't give
yeah.
a fuck about that.
But
Yeah.
here's the thing: you gotta. Well, let me just speak for myself then. I went to Smart and Final 2 days ago, and like,
Why are we at Smart and Final? Do you work at a restaurant?
wow, I can't drink whiskey, right? I can't drink. Who? What?
I'm just
How about instead of making assumptions, you
interesting.
ask me who I
goes to Smart?
am?
No one knows what Smart
I
and
do. I
Final
live in a
is.
Everyone
shithole
knows
desert.
Smart and
No, they
There's
don't.
only a
Have
Smart
you
and
guys worked in
Final.
restaurants?
Yes.
Yeah, when I was like
that's why
16.
you know. Okay, not since. When was the last time you worked in one?
You worked at Panda.
Yeah, but I
That's
mean,
not
like,
the same. You
that's
You
different.
don't know. There's like
We've only worked at corporate restaurants.
like what? I was actually gonna ask you this earlier because that really shows the kind of people that you are if you worked in the industry.
does it? You're gonna
Yep,
let
I was very.
my work experience?
I need to know. Like
We
I need to
weren't-
know how much you know, so can I use the
We
lingo?
weren't we
like-
weren't waiters or bartenders or anything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you don't know then.
Yeah,
I was-
I was never a waiter.
I was an unofficial
I can
general
tell because
manager.
we don't call it waiter. You say server. That's how I know.
It's
You
the
don't
same
know.
shit.
It's yeah. I guess that's what someone like you would say.
Snob.
But yeah.
Damn.
You're a whiskey snob.
Oh God, no, I'm not. Please, I'm not. I swear. Well, maybe.
A little bit.
Anyways, where were you going?
I don't know. You guys cut me
Smart
off so
Final.
rudely.
Smart and
Oh
Final,
yeah.
2 days ago.
Fuck.
COVID.
Okay. So, going outside for you. Do with this what you will. I am anxious always,
Yeah.
and
Like a scared chihuahua.
okay.
Can you like what's that feeling of anxiousness like? In like 3 simple words.
Oh, fuck.
Besides
Scared
anxious.
chihuahua.
You big scared chihuahua, which is the same thing as big scared small in my head. In 3 words, describe my anxiousness. I'm gonna take a pull of this beer and
Go for it. Really clear your brain. It's like a deep breath. The same concept.
judgment,
Whack.
unease, doubt.
Okay. That gives me a better framework of what you're anxious about.
I fuck with 2 of those.
What, judgment and or
The second 2.
yeah, okay.
But long story short, I have no issue going to like a drive-through for food, and I would frequent drive-throughs for COVID so I can just get my food, go home and eat. But when I made the decision 2 days ago to go to Smart and Final, a store, and buy coffee and tea and bread and just
Grocery shop.
general shit, I literally sat in my room for 2 hours preparing mentally. I really had to sit down and be like, okay, well, everyone in there's gonna be wearing a mask. I think the chances of me contracting COVID are really low. I think if I caught COVID, the effects it would have on me is not deadly. And I had to run through like all the things and kind of like walk myself like, this is why it's okay.
Yeah.
If I can go hang out at Josh's, and this is literally one of my staples, it's like if I can go hang out with Josh and Josh interacts with people all day at Target, then I can go out to a store where people go and interact all day.
If I could do it, you can do it.
Basically. And it's one of those things of like, but I have to tell myself that for 2 hours.
Do you want,
Yeah.
me, to, do you want me to record a video and put it
No,
on one of
that's
those
weird.
fucking like...
It's like 50 first dates. Just like rewatch it over and over.
Could you
again.
imagine? Hey, Alec, I'm with you, buddy.
It's like one of those digital picture frames, but it's just it plays the video.
It's just you giving like different thumbs up positions.
You got this. So the COVID thing, is that something you think about daily though? Or
Uh,
are you at home a lot? Do you work from home?
I don't work at all right now.
Okay.
But
He is an audio guy at a comedy club/bar.
Okay, gotcha.
yes. But yeah, basically I'm laid off, so I'm unemployed. Because I can't do concerts or shows, so all my
Yeah.
recording gear is useless. Excuse me. But I've always been behind the scenes. And that's where I'm comfortable, right? I'm comfortable coming home after a show or a concert and being like, I put on a good show because I was a part of that in some way. And other people are there for the crowds. I'm not there for the crowd, but I'm there to like have a good show or like make everything as good as it can be.
Like you like to be behind the scenes. Is that because of like a people thing? You don't want to be around people, or?
I think I kind of just grew up in it where like I volunteered a lot as a kid at the teen center. I talk about that a lot. I always help set up dances. I always help chaperone. I never was like...
But it's like engaging with people isn't like... That's not like an anxiety. Like social anxiety is not something that...
This is fine right now. I'm not like anxious. I was nervous to meet you and like...
How conversation would flow.
Yeah,
yeah same.
And
I was
shit,
too.
even I was.
And here's the thing. For me, it's like...
In years.
And for me, here's the thing. It's like, I just don't click with certain people. You and me seem to click. So it's like, okay, cool, whatever the fuck, I don't care. It just works. But there's certain people I've met to where like 5 minutes into this podcast, they'd be like, they'd shut down and like cross their arms and be like, fucking Alec, I can't believe he said that. Or
really?
There's absolutely people.
And then if you feel that like judgment and shame, it's like
I shut down.
You can't open up after that. Then you're constantly thinking about everything that you're saying. You're
100%,
like,
yeah.
And then you can't be vulnerable.
Exactly. It's one of those things of like, I'm focused on what I said to trigger it in the first place to where it's like, there's no possible way to go back or forward to fix it or correct it.
Absolutely.
And,
I feel like everyone has that problem, and that's why it's so important to be that first person to open. Oh my gosh, that's
I just caught myself doing this.
Great. Do you not feel comfortable? You feeling?
Well, talking about the COVID thing, but I just
that's interesting.
I just caught myself and I was like, holy shit, this is perfect.
Wow. Actually, I'd love to hear the rest of that story.
No, I mean, long story short, I had to hype myself up. Thank you. Of like, hey, it's gonna be all good if you can hang out with Josh and not contract COVID and die. A lot of it's like,
when I have the highest risk of getting it out of everyone. Honestly,
a lot of it's like the fear of death, and then it's just like how irrational it comes from like a cold, I guess COVID, but it's like Corona is still like a cold and flu virus, but stuff like that. And it's like just to go to a grocery store, which like even before COVID would be like, oh, okay, well, hang on. It's
kind of like a little, there's a little anxiety because there's a lot going on. You have to find parking.
Well, you know what? You know what's so funny too is like I was like reading tea and I was like, I want black tea, and I couldn't find black tea. And this lady stops right next to me and she is like, go ahead. And I was like, oh no, I'm just looking. And she's like, oh, I thought you were walking past. And I was like, oh shit, should I walk past? Should I just...
Oh my god, I know exactly. You just start overthinking.
I was like,
why am I even overthinking
I was
this?
like, grab the first tea you can and walk past this woman.
And you'll never go back. And that's the one you chose.
Yeah, and that's just what I did. But like...
We need to be at peace with ourselves.
But that's the thing, because I think because I took the 2 hours to like kind of like brace myself, it was like, okay, well, like I came out here for black tea, and I swear to God, normally that would like ruin my day, because I'd have to be like,
I know,
if she expects me to walk past her and I was like, I'm just looking for tea, literally I'd be like, it's gonna be so unusual if I don't grab tea and walk past her.
What's normal though? Like,
but that's what I'm saying, like it's just one of those...
have this concept that this, like, that's how people act. It's like we all act differently. Also, this lady, would you ever act like her? Like, I wonder what she's thinking. Like, is she having that same thought process as you?
I might have acted like her if I thought someone was just trying to politely pass me.
Maybe.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah.
Like,
but she wasn't overthinking, or she was. Like,
yeah, exactly. But she could have been...
About what you're doing.
Exactly. But I think because I took those 2 hours, and it sounds ridiculous every time I say it, I took those 2 hours to prepare myself. I was like, look, I'm not gonna leave here without what I wanted.
Exactly what you wanted.
Yeah. And I was like, so I'm gonna fucking read, and I went like, there's like 3 big shelves. There's a fucking lot of tea at Smart and Final, it turns out. And there's like 3 big like compartments or shelves. And I was like, no. And I walk all the way down, and then I grab it, and then like I took a victory lap just like right in front of her. I remember I was like,
that's awesome.
I was like, the end of the aisle's this way, but like now I have to like walk in front of you.
Oh my god, did everyone think this way? I thought it was just me.
Just
like,
me.
I thought I was crazy. Like, I think the
I'm
exact same
100%
way.
crazy.
Oh my god,
there's something off in my head, but like it was like literally like towards the beginning of the aisle, and she was in the middle of the aisle, and the tea starts in the middle, goes all the way to the end. I start in the middle, I trek all the way back to the left, and I finally find black tea. Apparently, black tea is like super rare in the market.
That's crazy.
And
most teas are black tea though.
Most teas are black tea, but everyone's got their own like special.
Yeah.
I just wanted like black tea, and everyone's got their own like
I know. A chai,
recipe. Yeah,
hibiscus,
something flavored. A lot of like orange peel and stuff like that. And I just wanted like pure black tea because I like making it myself. So I get the black tea, and I was like, I could go this way because this is the last thing I need, and I can just avoid her and go down the next aisle. And I was like, or I can walk in front of her like a champion with a trophy, being like,
the head nod too.
Yeah,
but so subtle, so subtle.
I found my tea.
We got it. Because you have the mask on, so you can't like show with your mouth.
And it's one of those things too. Like I didn't even realize it till just now. What you were saying. Like, what is normal? Because she waited in that aisle just as long as I was. Mm-hmm. So maybe she was like, "Go ahead," so I could fuck off.
Because she was about to take her time.
So she could take her time and read all the tea labels.
Honestly, that probably was what was going to happen.
I know.
She
I just realized that.
Yeah, we're all suffering with the same social anxiety.
Dude, I think we're all crippled. Like we're all just
but
like
it's crazy
inside
we
broken.
We were created to like. Whatever
be social.
Be social is bonding with people, and we are so afraid of it because we're so afraid of being judged. But that person we're afraid of being judged by is afraid of the exact same thing.
And like I said, like I think people that click with, like I couldn't just have a normal conversation like this with anybody, right? Like it's
that's
like,
but why not?
But that's the thing. Not everyone's alike.
Yeah,
right.
I think it's like
so
they
it's
haven't
like,
gotten to that point yet. Like they haven't learned about it. Like they haven't thought that much about it. They've just kind of like accepted the surface level.
My thought is always they haven't needed to.
They haven't needed to. Yeah. Exactly.
But like, I'm blanking again.
It's okay. I do that all the time too.
Sorry.
You're okay. You're totally fine. No, it's I really like. Okay, I was gonna tell this story earlier. I'll try to tell it real quick until you like think of what you're gonna say. But when I moved to Portland, I was ready to meet new people, and when I came back, I realized. I didn't really think I had a lot of friends here, but I actually did. They were just...
You got friends in California, too, apparently.
Yeah, apparently. I'm stoked about that.
You're known all over the world.
Whatever it's called. Denny's.
Lurefish House. Lurefish
House, shout out.
If you go to Denny's and be like, I know Alec, they'll be like, oh.
They'll be like, we don't say your kind.
Yeah, they'll tell you to leave. So if you go anywhere in Camarillo, don't say you know me.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Well...
Unless you go to Clubhouse, say you know me.
Unless you go to the bars.
Unless you go to the bars, say you know me, they'll hook you up.
It's going to be a while, probably, till I get to do that because of COVID, unfortunately.
They're open.
They are?
Yeah.
Just, they're all outside, but I mean.
That's not bad.
They're open.
Yeah, Clubhouse is really dope, though.
Interesting. Well, my friends in Phoenix, like, when I came back, I was like, man, I guess I didn't really dive into the friendships that I did have. Like, there's been people in my life who kind of, like, stuck around, but we would have, like, these nice, deeper conversations, but they wouldn't happen often. And I think that's something that I was craving, like, having that depth with people constantly.
You need that.
And really not worrying about the way I was being perceived, just kind of, like, I needed multiple people to just, like, listen to me and not think, like, oh, my God, Chase is just, like, so spacey. Like, she's too deep or she's too surface level, like too many things. I just need people to accept me.
I've gotten that too. I've had people tell me to my face, we can't be friends. Because
you're too much?
Because I look too deep into things.
Yeah, and I'm like, I think that you want to do it too, but maybe you're afraid. I don't know what it is, but
Fun fact about that story.
Which one? The tea one?
Being too deep?
No. The thing about being too deep. I was basically like, I wasn't like close with this dude and a group of friends, right? And I was like, look, man, like all of our friends know each other. Like I want to get to know you because like our friends fuck with each other, and like you're the only one I don't really know.
That's a vulnerable thing to say to somebody. Like,
I know.
That's you would think
that's a big step.
Yeah, it really is.
And this dude was just like, I don't really fuck with you. You overthink things, and like you're not happy. He's like, you're not happy. He's like,
overthinking.
He's like, I'm happy on the surface with what I have, and you're just like, you're always looking for a different meaning. I shit you not, graduates college, like literally 4 years later, and goes, hey man, I want to apologize. Like, I think I need someone like you in my life.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I was like, oh fuck,
I got
what?
goosebumps. That's really cool.
Yeah, dude, because like, it was me being like, hey, like, I want to be because I didn't like. I mean, like, I like the guy, but like, it's not like we like click, you know. It's like
you didn't get to that point yet.
Exactly. And I was like, look, I could tell you a lot about Josh, And Josh could tell you a lot about me.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you shit about this kid.
Yeah.
And I don't think like we're friends unless I could be like, yo,
Yeah.
that guy's a good dude, or that guy's like a piece of shit. You know, like unless.
Well, he wasn't where you were at that time. Like it's probably better that he wouldn't be able to understand you as a friend in that period of time where he rejected you. It was he had to get there, and he eventually did. However many years later, then he like understood where you were coming from and what that meant, that conversation. And it's like, it's funny that you said that to him, because when I came back to Phoenix, there were two people in my life that I had been working with. I used to work at, did you ever go to Oregano's in Arizona?
The pizza
Yes.
place?
Yeah. That's interesting. Oh, yeah. Well, you were young. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I worked there for like 5 years.
Was it next to the batting cages?
There's multiple Oregano's. It's like, it's local, but there's like
For sure.
50.
It's a chain still?
Yeah. So I had some friends there, and like we would always like hang out. Like that was my crew. Like I didn't like have like the traditional college experience, so it was like,
Oh, neither have we.
yeah. So like those were
Not
like
yet.
that was like my sorority frat type of life. Like we did everything together, but it was like mostly drinking and like I don't know. Cheers.
This is our frat.
Yeah.
Welcome to
but-
the fraternity.
But they like
2DDD.
stayed a part of my life even after that, and it was wavering, but it was nice that I knew I could always go back to them. And then like this summer, I made a point to like that conversation you had with that guy, I had with them. Like I told them that. I remember like with one of them, I got teary-eyed, and I really started crying in front of her, because I was just like, you've always been a part of my life, and you probably didn't even like realize like I was gonna come at you with this, but I need you to know like I want you in my life forever. And I know that's interesting to hear, but I love who you are, like unconditionally. Like,
you are important
you
to
are
me.
important to me. Like you don't have to like act a certain way. There's nothing about you that has to change for me. Like if you did change, it would be growing, and it because those things are different. But I would still love you no matter what you decide to do, because of just who you are. And I had the same conversation with my other friend, and they were separate and they were alone. And I think that I've never done that with anybody, and I just went into it because I wanted to show them like me being vulnerable, so that way they could see like, oh, like she's for real. Like I don't have to be afraid about her leaving, because that's like a lot of people's fears, is people just like coming and going out of their lives, so they can't really go too deep with them, because like, well, what's the point? Like I only know them at parties, I only go to bars with them, once I get married, have kids, they're not gonna be in my life anymore. I'm like, no, like I want you're gonna be in my life forever.
Yeah, you know what I was always afraid of is opening or sharing too much, and then people using it against me, because it happened in middle school.
Yeah.
So I remember one time, and here's the thing, I'll tell you the story, and it's one of those things I've learned, like you can only tell stories you're comfortable telling. So that's why like when I'm vulnerable, like it's like you gotta say something, but it's not like...
You've probably processed it, so you understand like the meaning behind the
Thank
story.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's like the perfect, like I've come to terms with it and accepted like how to handle it, so it's like I'm comfortable enough sharing it.
Yeah.
That was perfect. Thank you. Basically, one time I went to a sleepover in middle school and I couldn't sleep. And what I did was I put my head under the blanket and started taking deep breaths, trying to hyperventilate myself, because I've never told you this, have I?
No.
Jay's brought it out of me.
Thank you.
I brought it out, and I started taking deep breaths, because I knew if you hyperventilate, you could pass out, because I saw it in a movie.
Wow.
Yeah. And I was like, I just want to go to sleep, because everyone else is asleep, and I don't want to be awake, because everyone else is asleep.
I don't want to be different.
Exactly. And the next day at school, the guy who like had the like slumber party or whatever was like, hey man, it was a lot of fun. And I was like, yeah, I didn't sleep though. Turns out my deep breath technique didn't work back then. And he was like, why? And I was like, yeah, I didn't sleep. I actually tried hyperventilating myself to fall asleep.
I thought you were crazy.
But I couldn't. He goes, oh man, that's cool. It's probably just because we had sodas before bed. And I was like, oh, it's just the caffeine.
You are sensitive to caffeine.
And I'm super sensitive to caffeine. But what that turned into very quickly is at lunch that day, he called me some names, and then I was like, all right, bro, well, like, fuck you being a dick. And he's like, well, at least I don't have to hyperventilate myself to go to sleep.
And you're like, I told you that in confidence.
Exactly. And it was one of those things of like, holy shit, I just told you this, like, secret.
You're young. You like that was like your first experience with.
It had to be 6th grade.
Yeah.
It had to be like I was like.
He didn't know what he was saying, and like that's
No,
like,
for
to
sure.
give him
For
grace.
sure.
So it's like he's a kid. He's
For
like,
sure, I don't care anymore, which is why I'm sharing this story. But it's one of those things where like it impacted me so profoundly to where I was like, yo, I cannot tell anyone shit anymore, because if it ever came down to it and we got in a screaming match, the first thing they're gonna throw in my face is my Achilles heel.
Exactly.
It completely.
It's a deflection.
It completely disarmed me because like, and I think that's what it was too, right? Because like, I have a good mouth on me. Like I can talk shit. I can talk shit. I can talk shit for days. Sure. But like, I think as soon as I started getting the one up on him, he's like fucking atom bomb.
Yeah, I'm not waiting. Like, I'm using this now.
He's like, whatever I can do to disarm you. And he took me out, and I was like, and then
you get pissed and walk away, right in the face.
And I was literally like, bro, I told you not to tell anyone. And he's like, well, fuck you. I don't fuck with people who are pussies. And like,
the 6th.
Yeah, dude. To be fair, he was a 7th grader at the time, so
hanging out with 6th graders, not too cool. Not too cool.
That's the weird dichotomy, though, right? Because I thought I was cool enough to hang out with people older than me.
That is so funny. I know exactly what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I'm cool. I hang out with older people, but it's like
you don't realize
the older people is hanging out.
But you don't realize they're hanging out with you. You know?
Is there a reason? Like,
yeah, exactly. And it was just one of those things. And I was like, yo, from this day on, I won't tell people shit because I know they're gonna use it against me. And I swear to God, if you ask Josh my deepest, darkest secrets, he knows at least 3 of them that would kill me. Like,
wow.
Yeah,
are they that bad?
My memory is shit. So you're lucky.
It's like that question you asked your friend. Like, is it really? Like,
there's a few secrets in his vault. I hope that if he really wanted to, he could hurt me.
I mean, I know one off the bat.
Yeah, I'm sure you do.
But
yeah, like what was it?
It's a shit. I'm not gonna fucking.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But here's the thing. Like it's also like an exchange, right? Like I gave him my nuclear launch coach. I know his nuclear launch coach.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things. Like I was the first one to tell you, I trust you with this.
Yeah.
And then he reciprocated with a secret to me, and it's like, yo, we could be together.
That's a bond.
We could be together and strong.
That's a huge bond. Yeah.
We could be together and strong. But if you drop these nukes, like. I've got some on you too.
But I like that if he did drop, like one of you like dropped one of your nukes, you would still, I feel like that wouldn't break the bond. Like,
probably not.
Yeah, I was like, it's not.
Well, I know he wouldn't. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like,
shit.
That's why you have the bond.
Yeah, exactly.
You can trust each other. Like,
100%.
Trust is super huge, and it takes a leap of faith to just start with trust.
It really did. And that's what I said is like the reciprocation. And it's like a big thing for me was like being like, yo, here's this thing. And then he's like, yo, I get that. Here's this thing. I'm like, holy shit.
Was that something you felt like you had to do, or was that like a natural feeling that it just came out of you?
Well,
that's a great question.
The one I can think of is I wanted to give someone a message, and he did too. So we kind of.
What do you mean you wanted to give someone a message?
So I kind of fucked up with a friend in my senior year of high school. I cut things off really poorly, and I just wanted to say sorry, but I wrote this message, and I had him proofread it. And
just to be clear, man, you don't have to go into this.
I know. I was like, yeah.
I didn't want to send it, and so we essentially kind of like the similar thing. Like we wanted to write a message to someone, but he didn't want to send it, so we gave each other our phones and we both hit send for each other.
Wow, that's powerful. That's really cool.
Yeah, just to say like I trust you, like I know this is the right thing, so
that's really.
It's like I wouldn't do this on my own, but I mean, I'm
needed that.
But we went in together on it.
Yeah.
And like you guys were like, it sounds cheesy, like backbones, like
we're basically brothers.
Yeah, I can tell you guys have a really strong connection. That's really cool.
We just have yet to do a blood oath.
Yeah.
Is it necessary? I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm down.
You would know. You guys, you know your relationship better than I know it. So.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, we can do it now.
If you want. I don't really know you that well.
There's a razor cutter.
That's what I'm saying. He's fucking down.
He's like right there, Chase. Like that's I left it right next to you for a reason.
He's like Blade. Duh. I'm like, no, we need like a needle prick and like a paper.
Yeah,
like,
just something small. Yeah, something.
I'm like, we're gonna do it small. He's like, no.
We're going all in. You guys really love each other,
I'm ready at all times.
Wait, how did you guys meet?
High school. My junior year.
Oh, okay.
A cooking class.
Did you say junior year?
My junior year.
My junior year.
Sorry, I've had more to drink than you.
It's hitting him.
Yeah.
Leave me alone.
It's all good.
Junior year.
Would you like a beer? We're about to kill this 12-pack without you.
No, I'm good.
All
I'm
right.
on, like, my heart's starting to race because I'm getting to the bottom of the coffee. I'm like,
I got the same thing.
okay, I'm gonna have to eat soon.
My junior year of high school, I took a cooking class, and he was the TA for that cooking class, one of 3.
That's a lot.
Wait, okay, so
Senior
'cause
year's a
you're
joke.
26, 24. You just turned 24, right? Okay.
Yeah. So he was the TA. I was just a student. TA turned student, turned TA, student.
Okay,
It's
okay.
a long
Kinda-
story.
Really weird. But I had really long hair.
You still had, like, how long?
It was like down to
No, was
here.
it curly?
No.
No.
I had straight.
We got to show you
long
like
hair.
pictures and everything after.
Because I remember the swoop tier you had, pin straight. I remember that. When I think of you, I think of, like, your 4th grade yearbook picture. I think you're wearing a red shirt, and I don't know
That's
why.
so crazy, man.
I don't know, something like that.
I appreciate you saying that and sharing that because I feel like if I met someone from 4th grade, I'd have to say the same thing to them, but like that seems so creepy to say in person.
I know, but I'm like,
But like it's like, oh shit, like
They
you
paid
haven't seen
attention.
each other since
Yeah,
you were in
yeah.
4th or 5th grade, so it's like that makes fucking sense.
yeah, exactly.
So,
I
like-
was trying to think of memories I had with you at all, but I'm like,
You're
There's
making me
none.
you're making me realize like it's like, oh, it's not that weird.
it's not weird. There's nothing weird.
Yeah.
We
at
weren't
all.
really friends.
No.
But like
I'm like, no, we weren't.
mutual
no.
friends.
No, you're
Not at
fucking
all.
loser, dude.
We knew who each other we were.
You know, it's funny. I always got you and Chad Clark mixed up. I don't know why. I just thought you guys were the
We
same.
kind of looked the same.
You did- at the
both
time,
small and
yeah.
pudgy. And now he's a bodybuilder, so I can go. So now I can go fuck myself.
So now you're just tall and pudgy.
tall and pudgy.
This is my senior year.
Oh my gosh. Was this your death metal phase?
Oh, that's still
It's
his
not
phase.
it's not
Yeah, I
a
know.
phase, mom.
It's not. It's not.
It's
a,
not.
It's not a
Well, now
phase.
you
It's
have
a
the nose
lifestyle.
ring, so it's the black
Yeah.
nose ring too. That's how you know. Dang,
Yep.
that's pretty intense.
Can't do anything but black.
Are you gonna come back to the long hair?
Probably not. But I've
Bummer.
always cut my hair for a woman.
I've always cut my hair after a breakup, so,
So-
this last haircut that was new.
He's
for
cut
me.
his hair to get into relationships.
Really?
You cut them to get out.
The last time I cut my hair wasn't to get into one. It just helped.
it.
It's different.
It's the same but different, you know.
Same thing, but different.
It just doesn't hold as much weight as the other ones. I'm assuming. Yeah, I get
I was
that.
gonna tell a story. No, I kind of forgot.
You were
We were.
high school. You
You guys
me.
met. How you guys met? Yeah.
Cooking class. I was also blonde.
Oh my god, I've seen this picture before. You look like a cartoon character in the blonde.
Yeah.
It's the facial
I
expression.
was
for
I was
me.
blonde for a year.
Wow, that's crazy.
So he was the TA, I was the student, and I had really long hair, and he liked my long hair because, correct me if I'm wrong, you always wanted to have long hair like that.
I always wanted to have. Okay, so yeah, I was super emo in middle school and high school.
What is emo to you? I feel like everyone has a different.
Long dark hair covering the eye and.
But you didn't
pierced
have the
ears.
long hair.
No, I wasn't allowed to grow my hair out.
Wow. Okay, but you were emo just without the like physical features.
Yes,
Gotcha.
or the clothes,
On the
So
inside.
on the inside,
or
I'm
any-
emo, I swear.
or any of the
You show
cool
up to,
shit that
like,
I
a-
wanted.
What are those? A mosh pit. You show up to a mosh pit and you look like you just got out of football practice. And you're like, no,
had-
I'm emo inside.
I had to wear collared shirts.
Oh no, you poor emo kid.
I went to a rich school, so my dad freaked out and bought me like collared shirts and polos, and then
Had to
that's
fit
all
the
I had.
image.
That's all I had through elementary school and middle school, and it turns out that's not what rich kids wear.
No, it's not. Not at all.
th-
Turns out,
Rich kids wear the emo shit, too.
Yeah, rich kids still wear emo shit and just more expensive clothing, and then
Yeah.
call you a faggot for wearing a polo.
Yeah, 100%,
So-
pretty much.
So they're just savages. But yeah, where was I going with this?
You
I was
wanted- you
emo.
wanted the hairstyle
I always
had.
wanted to have his hairstyle.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, yo, I've always wanted my hair to be like that because, like, you know,
I want to look on the outside what I feel on the inside.
exactly.
You know? Yeah.
You're 100% right. And I was like, yo, I really like your hair. And he
That's
just goes,
so sweet.
thank you. It was the
You're
first.
just always so vulnerable. That's ever since you.
Here's the weird thing though. Here's the weird thing. I was showing off. It's funny that you mentioned that because I was like showing off to like a bunch of girls
Super arrogant.
at the table,
always.
and I was like trying to like flex in a weird way, and like I was literally riding a high at that time, right? Like I had a girlfriend who was like smoking hot, and just like everything was going great for me, and I sit down like putting on a show for these people, as I said earlier.
And you see someone with something you want.
And I see some quiet kid with hair that I wanted as a kid, like from like years ago.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh man, I like your hair. And it was like,
Thanks.
and that was it.
And that was it. That's.
And that's
100%.
that was it.
And then,
I feel like you doing that, it kind of like disarmed Josh. So he, like, I can tell. I feel like you're the one with the hard exterior, not so much you.
100%. Everything that I have is all fake. It's a stone wall facade.
Mm-hmm.
Even the death metal hardcore music.
No,
it is a phase.
Check my library, dude.
You can show us. You have your phone on you.
Hardcore till I die.
What is hardcore? Like, give me like 3 artists.
Stick to your guns.
Okay.
The Ghost Inside. I mean, that's melodic hardcore. Terror.
See, and I love that he brought that up, melodic hardcore, because like in his definition, that's pussy hardcore.
Wow. Oh my
Because
God.
melodic hardcore or like pop hardcore, it's like it's not hard enough.
Yeah.
For
I see
hardcore
it,
fans,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Kublai
So
Khan.
he says the things he likes, and he goes, "Well, those aren't really hardcore."
Yeah,
It's still hardcore. It's just an umbrella.
You know your categories, so.
Mhm.
Metal is an umbrella.
That's what it sounds like.
There was also another time in this cooking class. I was making a
I
chicken
knew
dish.
this was gonna come up.
I was making a chicken dish.
I don't remember this story, to be fair.
And I like to think I'm a really good cook still. And I don't want to say I undercooked my chicken, but it was just like at the point where it was like super juicy still and kind of can be perceived as undercooked, but it
I
wasn't.
understand completely.
It was fully cooked.
It was kind of pink.
It wasn't. It was fully cooked. It was edible and you wouldn't get sick. And he saw it and it was like, dude, your chicken's undercooked. And I was like, no, it's not. I know what I'm doing. I've worked with my dad at Outback Steakhouse.
That was
Wait,
his
you
flex.
said that? Or,
I said
okay.
that.
He
'Cause
said that.
My dad used to do catering events for Outback. So he'd bring me sometimes and I'd help cook food. Super illegal, by the way.
Anyways, we'll skip over that.
So cooking class, huh?
And so I was like, I used to work at Outback Steakhouse. And he said, used to, that means you got fired. And I was like, no, I did it with my dad. And you're like, whatever, your chicken's undercooked.
Wow.
And then you walked away. And I was
I
like,
don't remember that
okay,
interaction.
it's
I remember
not.
the compliment. That's it.
Your mind like has blanked out.
I remember
All
the
bad
compliment, and
stuff.
then the day they made ice cream, and he gave me the rest of theirs.
I don't remember that.
So when did
Shit.
you guys end up getting deep then in your friendship? These are just
so
such subtle moments.
my senior year of high school, I got
It
a job.
sounds subtle. It's really not.
Yeah. Okay.
It's,
got
it's years and years of torture.
I got a job at McDonald's.
Nice.
It was my first job. That's
They
like
have hot and spices at that one?
yes.
Yes,
It
they
was
did.
before the menu
It's important.
changed. He worked at that McDonald's too, and I saw him in the drive-thru beforehand. And I came inside, and he was working that day, and he slid me the application. I filled it out, and I got hired on the spot.
Nice. The homie.
So yeah, we worked together.
At Mickey D's?
That was done for me, so it only felt right to pass
Yeah.
it forward.
Absolutely.
So I mean, he got me the job. Essentially, got me the job at McDonald's, and
Pizza Riff.
Pizza Riff. Yep.
What did you guys do there?
Just like it's like a build your own pizza place.
Okay.
Pizza Rev is a craft your own pizza restaurant. Rest in peace.
Do
eight
they
nine-
have like that cinnamon icing?
Yes.
I miss places
The
like that.
best.
Yes
Dang.
and no. We had a dessert pizza.
It was an Oreo pizza, but you can make the cinnamon ones.
Yeah, the
Just
cinnamon
get it with
ones
no
the icing.
Oreos.
You could if you want.
Those are the best.
Rest in peace. They recently closed. They took the lettering off the Camarillo one.
It's like stained and shit though.
Not even. It's super clean. It's weird.
Really?
I drove past it today and I saw the
Nostalgic.
logos off and I was like, pour one out. Like
Aw,
rest in
dang.
peace.
Is that because of COVID?
Yeah.
Dang, that's a bummer.
They closed all their locations.
That sucks.
But fuck them. Who cares? They suck.
It was a bad company to work for.
Okay. The truth
Um,
comes out.
Yeah, he's really gotten me all my jobs except for Target.
And now you guys have a podcast.
Now we have a podcast. Yep.
You've come so far.
We sure have. Shit.
We've lived together.
Yeah, so if you don't know, I'll tell you again. I know I've said it on the podcast before.
I've made his music videos.
He did music videos and stuff for me, but also basically at a time when I had nowhere else to live, him and his family took me
Wow.
into this house.
Wow.
So
This is family.
this is family for sure.
Yeah, that's.
He
nice.
was his family gave me a place to live when my family said no. So it's just one of those things.
That holds a
where-
lot of weight. That's.
And it was like, literally, we were just drinking in the trailer one night, and I was like, I gotta move again. And I've moved probably like 6 times in a year,
Oh shit.
and it was just back and forth.
You
to every
needed
place.
stability at that point.
And I was able to live here with them for about 3 years.
Wow, 3 years.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
One when I wasn't even here. I lived in North Hollywood. for
yeah.
a
When it
year.
was just me.
Wow.
So I got to live here all by myself and have the room and just go to school, and I really got to get all my shit together, and it's just what I needed, you know.
I understand, like, living with my family right now, I felt so much like a failure going into it, and especially since it's been, like, lasting for so long. And I feel lucky because it's like, everyone's like, oh, it's COVID, it's like an excuse, and I'm like, yeah, but like deep down, I know that, like,
But deep down, we know we're all losing a year of our lives.
absolutely. So I'm like, okay, this year I'm like, I have to make the best of it, and it's been like a recovery year for me, for sure. And even though I'm about to move in with my mom, I'm like, I know, like, that's my next move, like, and that's okay, and I don't feel like ashamed of it. I'm like, I have like more important goals than like right now goals, like end game. These are like, they're not tangible quite yet, but I've been like, my whole life is about like that goal that's like next week, that goal that's like next month. It's like, oh, I want to be this, I want to be this. I'm like, no, like, I actually have like concrete foundational goals that I'm working towards, and if that means I have to live with my mom, then that's fine. Like, she hasn't lived in Arizona in years, so like that's like a relationship we can like rebuild again. And it doesn't look like how a normal 24-year-old's life is supposed to look like, but again,
Trust me,
what is
it's
normal?
normal enough.
Yeah. And I'm like,
I've seen some shit, and there's a lot of people who have seen some shit who would kill to be able to live back with their mom.
yeah, I think it's
Trust
gonna be
me.
it's gonna be good.
It's gonna be great.
I'm looking forward to it for sure.
I remember in high school, my junior year, I was in a math class, and my teacher was like 35 or 36, and it was his first year teaching, and he's just like, hey, I just want you to know, I'm super stoked to be you guys' teachers, my first year here, and I just moved out of my house with my parents, and I want you guys to know, and here's the thing about being vulnerable. I didn't realize this as a kid.
Nope.
But he was like, I just want you guys to know, when you go away to college, it's okay to move back with your parents.
Absolutely.
And get your shit together. And
It says
then
nothing of your identity. Like, that is whatever you're in is not your identity.
and he said that, and he was like 34, and he's
Wow.
like, he just got his like master's or whatever teaching credential he needed, finally got the job he wanted as a teacher, and was like, I just want you to know, there's nothing wrong with moving in with your parents at 34.
That's so nice that you probably had never heard that in your life.
Never. As a kid, I
As
was
a
like
kid,
making
yeah.
fun of him with other students, but now
Wow.
on this podcast, if you're out there watching, should I say his name?
Yes.
Mr. McLean, I'm sorry, man. You're right.
Mr. fucking McLean?
Mr. McLean.
He was cool.
Mr. McLean was cool. And I
Geometry.
feel...
He was real. That's
Yeah,
real.
and,
There's
like,
no expectations. Like,
Lived in Ontario.
And for him to just be
Wow.
like, look, I'm super excited to be a teacher. This is the job I've always wanted. Thank you for letting me be your teacher. And when you guys leave here, go to college, and you have to move back with your parents, I want you to know it's okay.
absolutely.
And I was like, holy fuck. Because now it's like one of those things, like, that's fucking stuck with me, man. Like, it's one of those things, like, you snicker with the other students in class, but at 26, you're like, oh shit, I wish I had someone to go home to.
the real
Yeah.
world is fucking expensive, too.
You know, shit.
It really is.
And
No
especially
shit.
That's why when people start getting married too, it's like you said.
I
you
know
want
so
someone
many
to come home
people-
to. It's like they're just like, okay, well, I'm alone and I'm facing all this by myself. And some people don't have the families that they can go back to.
I know
So
so
they
many...
get stuck in comfortable relationships.
I know so many people in toxic relationships because it's just easier.
and
It
then
sucks.
and then you get stuck
Crazy.
comparing yourself to other people
Yeah.
that you see too, thinking you're not good enough.
It's a fucking vortex, man.
And we're all dealing with it. It's
It's a
like
black hole,
we're all
yeah.
doing this to ourselves. Like, there's no reason.
like I've seen everyone
It could be so easy.
everyone I've
It
gone
could-
to school with
that wouldn't be fun.
graduate,
Yeah,
get their
you're right.
degrees, and I'm still in community.
That hurts a lot for me too, but at the same time, I also landed a job in my industry faster than anyone
Yeah.
else who's gone to school with me. Also, seeing people, graduate highly esteemed schools and
Yeah, I know.
and not be able to get employed, and then now with COVID, and it's like
Losing their jobs.
you
Everyone
got to
these
remember
corporate jobs, yeah.
everyone who went to those schools who did get those jobs, they're like, well, you've only been here for like 2 years, so get the
Exactly.
fuck out of here.
Which is, it's great that people have gotten them, and like, I don't want to take that.
It's great,
away
but it's a
from
hard
anybody.
truth.
It is,
It's
yeah.
a hard truth.
Like I was really, it's like I was really trying to get into like journalism. So when it came to like writing, I was like, this is just like, there's just like so many rules, and I'm so afraid of messing up. So I did like photojournalism. I was like, I just you take a picture, you show up, like you captured what happened, you know. And like it was more like artistic, like it could be something that I could have like a creative side.
Have you seen
like,
Nightcrawler?
Yes.
Well, I was gonna say, of course she has.
Such a great movie. Yeah, that feels like that sometimes, but it was crippling to like not get that job. And it's like every day somebody that I went to school with was getting a job, getting like published, or they were getting jobs from like Washington Post, New York Times, and I'm like, I have the portfolio. Like, why does no one know who I am?
Let me share with you 2 short stories real quick. The people who are getting jobs at Washington Post or Daily Mail or whatever. My brother's an illustrator who's landed.
Oh, sweet.
Shouts out to David.
Shouts out to David. We're gonna get him on the podcast eventually.
Oh, sweet,
I promised. But he's an illustrator, so he does a lot of comic books. He does children's books, and he's done a lot of work for Disney. And he's working on a TV show right now called Dream Corp LLC. It's available on Hulu. So he does a lot of things. He's how cool. He's an animator for that show right now, which is super dope because I remember him going to college and like coming over and doing like live portraits of the family to be like, this is what I'm learning in school, and now he's like doing it, right? He's worked for Disney, and everyone who asks him like, what's it like working for Disney, he goes, it sucks. It sucks because of all the let's just say he's at 8 contracts, right? 6 of them, they pay you in the beginning, and then they say, we're changing directions, we don't need you.
So it's like your blood, sweat, and tears.
So it's like you put in a bunch of work, and you only get the deposit.
Your energy, yeah.
You only get the deposit. So what that means is like you get the deposit, it's like half now, half later for the job.
Yeah.
You only walk away with half. And you spend 3 to 4 months doing a job, and you only get paid for half the time, and you do an extra month or 2 of work. So it's like, it sucks because that always happens, and there's more money anywhere else.
It's like he's like a machine. They're just like cranking it out, and it's like, okay, you don't understand.
They are, in fact, a business.
Process, the energy, the creativity that I had to put into this.
The time.
He used the word term art farms, and I swear to God, if you walk in, it's a bunch of cubicles with artists with their head downs, and it's the same thing as walking into a barn seeing a bunch of cows get milked with those mechanical.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I view it.
It's 100%. It's 100% the same thing. And he goes, well, it sucks because even though I tell everyone I worked for Disney, it doesn't mean shit.
No.
Because
people hear it, they're like, oh, Disney, oh my God, like that, you're doing so well. Like, oh yeah, Dave is doing amazing.
It's the same way I could say I worked for Joe Coy, but it doesn't mean shit.
No, it doesn't mean anything.
It's like, who cares? Because
That's so stupid.
yeah, but it's one of those things that like everyone will be like, if you put it on a resume for the right studio, they'll hire you.
Yep.
In a weird way. But people who get those journalist jobs for like those are 1-day gigs.
Exactly. It's
So,
all freelance.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of what I do would be freelance anyway.
Freelance is great, but it's not like consistent, and I don't know.
That's the hard part of
Yeah.
it. You know, it's balancing that. But one thing he always told me, that the first story was that he worked for Disney. It sucks. Working for those journals are cool. Working for those places are cool, but they're not the end goal.
Yeah, no.
Because it's not just one job you make it. It's one job, next job, next job, next job, next job until you die.
Well, we like this like generation and the generation like prior to us and our parents, like we have this like feeling that once you have your career, it's like you're there forever. You're there for 45 years and you retire, and
I absolutely agree.
You die.
I absolutely agree that's the stigma, but that's not the reality.
That's not the real, and I am so glad that's not the reality. I'm like,
that'd suck.
I don't want the same job, and I'm like, I don't want to be stuck somewhere the rest of my life. Like I'm really into the idea of like having like a stable job, but having like my side hustles, like whatever. Like I was just telling him, like I want to work forever, and that sounds like, I don't mean like cubicle work. Like we were like created to work. We're created to like put our brains together, work together with people. We're meant to keep, I'll just use it in creating. And
yeah,
I'm like, I don't want to live my life to like retire and play golf and do nothing the rest of my life. Like that, I just like feel, you know, that like feeling where you're just like sitting down doing nothing, you're lethargic all day. And
all the time, especially right now.
Yeah, we all are feeling it, and that's like creates the anxiety. And I'm like, yeah, if I already hate that now, like why would I want to
imagine
work
doing
my
it when you're
ass off
70
to get there? When that just sounds like that's like that's actual hell. That's like my personal hell. So that's how I view work.
Yeah.
I'm actually the complete opposite. Like I want to work at the same place forever.
Everyone's different.
Granted, I'm probably not going to be at Target for literally ever, but I look at my 401k that's building, and they say if I retire at 65, I'll get $8,000 a month, which is pretty fucking
Baller.
Pretty
I mean,
fucking
like,
nice
that's
at
chill.
65.
Yeah. You don't have to worry about anything. And
That'd be, you know what that'd be nicer at? 24.
24.
But like, I want an office job. I don't mind sitting at like the same spot for
Really?
9 hours a day.
Do you like the
Working with
consistency
spreadsheets.
of, wow.
I love stability. I love things being the same.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of change
Okay.
because change is scary.
Change bad.
Change bad. Change bad.
Change real
See,
bad.
my job right now, I'm a nanny right now, and what I love about it is that literally every single day is completely different. Like, I'm more
Because
of like
kids are crazy.
kids are crazy, like, but I'm also kind of like a house assistant, like, whatever they ask
Yo,
me
house
to
sitting's
do.
the best job. I've done some house sitting
Oh,
jobs.
house sitting
Those are
is
the best.
sweet.
Those are
you
the
don't
best.
do anything. But it's like, but then I'm like doing nothing, and I'm like, my purpose.
I'm not doing nothing.
I'm like, I am not getting my value. Like,
I cleaned
out
the
of
shit
me.
out of this guy's patio when he was away for
You're
a
hanging
week.
out with the fucking dog.
Dude,
That's nice.
all I did was hang out with the dog and watch Spider-Man movies and clean the house. And I was like,
Could
the
you do
time
that
of my
every
life.
day though?
In a different house, yeah.
In a different house, yeah, different environment, but like
Same
the
house,
same
no, but different house, sure. I could figure it out.
Yeah, but you would be chill with staying in the same house.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind. So sweet.
Yeah.
Wow, everyone's just so different.
I would
That's
know
so
the ins and out of
interesting.
the house.
You gotta go find yourself.
I'd
know?
memorize where everything was, so if I used it, they wouldn't fucking
He'd find
know.
the meta.
They wouldn't
Of course,
fucking
of
notice. And put everything would be back.
Interesting. Oh
Like
my
Ben
God.
Affleck and the Accountant.
I've never seen it.
Yo,
Neither have I, but
really?
yeah.
It's not bad. He so Ben Affleck makes like breakfast and he like organizes his toast and his eggs and his bacon on a plate in a specific
Is
way.
that like an OCD thing?
Mhm.
Okay,
Basically, it's OCD.
gotcha.
Can I go back to real quick the other story I wanted to say real quick?
Yes. So sorry.
It's all good. My brother David, also the second story about him was he says, which is really inspiring. He's like, look, I've done this like Disney. I've done this book. I've done this, and this. It's not that special. Move on to the next thing. If you want to know the secret to doing this, because in the industry like of art and creativity, and I'm sure it's applying to journalism to somewhat, if that's still what you're looking for, is just do that thing and then you are that person.
Mm-hmm.
I said I want to be a rapper. I said I want to be a musician, and he's like, just release a rap album,
Yeah.
and then you are that thing.
Yeah, that's like the imposter syndrome. How
Yeah.
you're just like
100%.
so afraid to jump into it because you're like, no one's gonna take me seriously. I don't take myself seriously, but it's like, okay, well, if that's something that you like to do, then you're gonna mess
figure it
up.
out either
you're gonna
way.
fail, but it's like all the cliches, dude. You are gonna learn from your failure, and it's
Mm-hmm.
like somebody is gonna see that you're being humble, and they're gonna be willing to work with you more because you're not walking into it acting like you know all your shit. Like, that is somebody whose mind is able to be molded. They're willing to learn because they're willing to accept their failure. All that stuff, like, I remember hearing teachers say it. You read it on posters and you're just like, I don't get it. Like, this isn't clicking with
Young
me.
and dumb, man. Young and
Yeah.
dumb.
And then when it does start clicking, you're like, oh, you don't have to put on a poster.
we all
but
thought
like,
we had it.
now I get it. And I'm like, oh, okay. It makes sense now. I can actually do the things that I want to do and not be afraid.
Could I excuse myself for 1 second? I
Gotta go
have to
tinkle?
go pee so bad.
Go for
I mean,
it.
we've been talking for a long time.
Yeah, I'm gonna go pee and I'm gonna come back. We'll drink another beer and we'll keep this going. But go
Okay.
ahead and keep it rolling without me.
All right,
Unless
Josh.
Ian wants to step in for a little bit. Ian, you want some spotlight?
Come
My
on in.
my headphones are really sweaty, so wipe them off. I'll wipe them off for you.
We are two sweaty boys. Two
Yeah,
dudes.
we did this last time, huh?
Two dudes who like to drink, and we're also a little.
Dude, we just
sweaty.
like to drink and talk and fucking chill and have a good time, you know?
We run hot.
Squeeze by you?
I know, I'm pretty sweaty right now, too, not gonna lie.
No, if you guys want to turn on the air, we can do that.
It's not that hot in here, at least for me.
I gotta go pee and then I'm sure it'll be better.
Ian, how you doing? I
Doing pretty
know
well.
you've been sitting over there, just kind of dealing with what we got going on for as long as we go.
It's been the coolest thing. It's been so fascinating.
Nice
to me.
being an observer.
It's different.
Mm.
It's weird sitting in the same room as a conversation and saying nothing.
Not being a part of it.
But
That's might be
learning
nice.
so much about both of you two here. I feel like I know a lot now.
Yeah.
And like it's a privilege that I feel like I don't deserve. You know?
Hey man, you're special. You're special now.
You're special. Do you have any, like, was there any, like, thing you wanted to input? Things that you couldn't, like, you were holding back while you were sitting in the corner by yourself?
I was just kind of taking it all in.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been talking about these things for days at this point. Sorry, it's so weird hearing myself.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
That's something people got to get used to.
I wasn't planning on
I
I'm
know.
making a guest appearance.
Spur of the moment.
I appreciate it, though.
Yeah, of course.
The invitation. I think, I don't know, just the conversation you all were just having about art barns.
Yeah. Or art farms. Yeah.
Art farms.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of my current situation right now. I'm going to school for film scoring. So I'm stepping into this. It's like music itself is already kind of like nebulous enough of a field to get into. But to take that and then put it in a city like LA, in an industry like the film industry, makes it like it takes the artistic like merit behind it and it kind of compresses it into like a sort of office job.
Mm-hmm.
I tried to, when I lived in North Hollywood for a year, I tried to get into the film industry.
Like in what way?
Like just in the fucking industry, like just
Whatever
literally,
that
like
means.
I would be a PA,
Yeah.
or I've generally been more like behind the scenes, like
Yeah.
A camera op or a grip or just whatever. I would take literally any job I could get.
Yeah.
I didn't get fucking shit in a whole year. And so I was like, fuck this. I don't want to do film anymore. I want something more stable. So I switched my major to business. And I've been happier ever since.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you think that was like the idea of what it was to be in the film industry, or was it?
It was just something I liked doing.
Yeah. Like, would you do
taking,
it now?
My film class. No.
Really?
God, no.
But you
No.
liked it then?
I liked it then. I liked it in 2017.
Then you understand, like, yeah, I've had an internship that put a bad taste in my mouth for what, not journalism, but like, because honestly, like, all journalism jobs are desk jobs. It's like all the movies we watch about like those cubicle jobs, they're always reporters. Like, I don't know if you noticed, but like most of the time they're doing, it's like we see all the workplace, it's like they're a reporter and you're like, oh, like this is what work is. Like every time I see like a movie, that's what I like picture as like a journalist. And that's not why I ended up doing it, but I lost my train of thought where I was going with that. But yeah, I don't know.
Alec, what are you writing? You can just say it.
Give me a beer.
You're gonna write it in the pink chalk.
I was trying to let you guys flow, and
on
you
the
stopped in the middle
on
of
the
writing.
chalk. I just see you lean over. I'm not gonna throw it, Ian. Can you hand that to him?
Thanks.
No,
I
it's
just
interesting.
see you lean down and pick up a notebook on the corner of my eye. Catch.
We got it.
Okay, so when you
There we go.
I was gonna say when you inevitably can't open it. But yeah, film scoring. Definitely talk. This
Super
he's a
fucking hard.
musician. He's a
Super fucking hard.
producer. He knows a lot about that shit.
Mm-hmm.
You guys could definitely
Do you film
link.
score?
Yeah, I'm
No shit.
studying film scoring right now.
Let's go.
Yeah.
He's also a super talented musician and
Awesome.
singer.
You guys should
and-
trade info.
Let's work. Yeah.
Definitely, we'll chat.
Yeah. I'm a mix engineer, so I do this for a living.
I saw the gear and I was like, you
This
have
looks
like
familiar.
He knows
some
what's up.
insane knowledge
He
about
knows
all
what's
of
up.
this.
Yeah, man.
That's so cool.
I mean, if there's one thing I've learned is like we need each other.
Hmm.
It's music is community, and community is everything. So
That's the
you
thing.
know.
And
Yeah.
what you just said, anyone could read that, like hear that and think that's cheesy, but it's like that holds so much weight.
Well, you know, it's one of those things. Like I hope that's a fucking cliche. I've always thought to myself like, wouldn't it be cool to like create a cliche? Because like when you think of people who say like we all walk different paths.
Mm-hmm.
Like someone said that at one point, and it was so true.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone was like, "Oh fuck, I gotta tell my kids that."
Yeah, exactly.
So like, yeah, community is everything, and that's-
It really is. Like having relationships with people, any kind of relationship, any kind of bonding is so important. But it is scary. But when you take that leap, that's all we have.
On the record, can we just say that cliches are cool?
Yeah,
Just like get that
I
off
feel
the
like it
I'm
table.
gonna have to-
depends on the cliche.
Okay.
But
Okay,
yeah,
what's a bad one?
I don't know every cliche ever, but I mean,
I know a couple.
They're all
I have
true.
one in mind.
Which one?
You know which one?
Do I?
Yeah. I don't want to say it. The wash your hands.
Oh,
I never wash my hands.
No, not
I don't
that.
think that's
It's not
that's
like a
not
COVID
reached
thing.
cliche.
I feel like
Status.
it's not. Okay, then it doesn't matter.
I never wash my hands.
I'm more thinking cliches and like sayings on like T-shirts and Hobby Lobby posters.
Mhm.
Hello Kitty shirts and shit.
No, even
More
worse.
like it's like those. They're not pictures. They're like cardboard boxes that people hang on their walls
Yeah.
with like a canvas.
Yes, you can.
And it's like it's this cursive.
it's
font.
like we drink wine
It's a
in this
live, laugh,
house.
love.
Live,
The
laugh,
annoying
love.
thing is, I see through that, and I see that that's just someone buying something to preserve like a personality trait that was passed
Yeah.
on them that they think they have to fulfill.
Oh
Mhm.
You know what
yeah.
I'm saying? And
Like
then,
that's like they've identified with
and then someone
being the woman who drinks like white wine. Like that's my thing. Like I have to have wine posters
you might as
everywhere.
well hang something and be like, I'm going to be the crazy cat lady of my family.
Yeah.
And then
People do that too.
exactly, but like it's like one of those things like someone was like, I could put this on a poster and talk to someone in Target and sell $1
Yeah.
million worth
Yeah.
of merchandise.
But then they get scared because like they literally that becomes their personality trait, and you're like,
Mhm.
this
That is
poster.
my next bullet point. Can I hop back on?
Yeah.
Yes.
Guys,
in here.
sorry. It's just the perfect transition. Ian, thank you, man.
course.
Let's get info.
Oh, absolutely.
We'll do that after the show.
Yeah. Okay. So, I'm pretty sure everyone just saw my sweaty ass back.
You're wearing black
Thank
because
you.
you're not supposed to see it.
Well, now you know.
That was intentional. The black, huh?
Yeah.
Nice guys, nice.
I would not wear any clothing that would reveal body sweat.
So white or
Not in
light
public.
colors.
Okay. So, oh man, that's so perfect. I'm so glad you said that. I usually don't like transitioning into bullet points, but I think this has a little bit of something to do with mental health.
Yeah.
And I think...
I had a post about this kind of concept, but I'm going to see where you go.
Yeah. So, just...
Bless
If
you.
Thank you.
if it's unclear
One
at all,
and done.
let me know and I can try and reword it. But I've written down here feeling sad, and so feeling sad for me. I grew up and I watched a TV show called Scrubs.
Nice.
It
Yeah.
was my favorite TV show ever because the whole show would be a challenge, an accomplishment, and then a moral at the end of the episode every single time. And I remember saying like that was my favorite part about it because you really feel like you take something away.
Yeah.
And I remember watching one episode in particular, the one with Michael J. Fox, who has
Parkinson's.
He does have Parkinson's in real life, but in the episode,
Parkinson's. Did I get it? What is Parkinson's?
what is Parkinson's? Hell yeah!
Fuck.
I drink to that. What did he have in the show?
He had OCD.
Okay.
He had OCD in the show, and he has a breakdown, and it has a really sad ending. And I remember being like, oh, and like feeling sad and being like, I like this feeling. Like I like feeling sad.
I get
And
that. I know exactly. I know.
and it was
The fuck?
okay. So it was one of those things where it was like I was like, holy shit. Why don't I feel this more often? And I was like chasing it for a while. I was like watching like sad shit, and I was like listening to sad,
music. Always. Yep.
You're gonna complete every sentence
I know, I just know,
you,
I
you
know.
already know. But basically, I asked myself like literally when I wrote this on the 25th. If today's the 26th.
Fuck.
Yes, it is.
It is the 26th.
Yep.
Yep.
So literally yesterday I was thinking about this and I was like, man, I wonder if like it's genetic to feel sad, and like what are the chances of it being like I inherited a trait to like want to feel sad because it's like a survival thing, right? Because like a lot of genetics we inherit are like survival things. Like I have hazel eyes and blonde hair. It's like mutations that not anymore, obviously, but like
Okay.
if I had a kid, it'd be blonde until they're about my age.
Maybe.
But
Those are survival things.
well, the reproductive things.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's like both reproductive, survival
I get it. Yeah.
kind of realm. And I was like, man, do you think at one point ever it became like beneficial for my ancestors to like feel sad, and like that's the reason why they survived, because they like mourned like a death of someone, and that someone was able to put them in contact with like money or a job or anything to like
The ghost? The
It
ghost
lives in
book
Josh, but I'm right here.
Okay. Is this making sense? I know it sounds kind of wackadoo.
You're saying the ghost helps the people?
No,
Or being
No,
sad
like
helps the people?
feeling.
Genetically, 300 years ago, my great grandmother or
Was
father
sad and that helped them.
was sad, and they were,
An
let's
example,
say,
like
depressed
their
or
spouse died, and they were maybe even something less concrete. Like there's things that make all of us sad that are just like the reason is like.
Well, okay, so let's focus on the TV episode, right? Is like
Okay.
the ending was like this guy coming to terms with his condition,
Yes.
being like, I have OCD, it's okay.
Yeah.
And I remember being like, fuck, that's sad, because that guy is just accepting who he is, but he's like owning it.
Yeah, he has to live with it. Yeah.
And it's one of those things where it's like, there is no cure for OCD. It's just acceptance.
Yeah.
And I felt sad. And I was like, is that like a connection I'm making because of it's just good writing? Or is it because could like my...
You can relate to it.
Yeah, like the fact that I like the sadness, is that like a genetic thing?
I don't know if it's
or...
the sad thing. I don't know if I would describe it as that. I think that, I don't know. I mean,
Do you know what I'm saying? I know it sounds really all over the place.
but what kind of sadness are you feeling in this moment?
Right,
Not
for
in
the
this
TV
moment.
show?
Yeah, well, like when you're describing it as sad, like there's different types of sad. So I'm wondering if there's like,
The word that comes to mind is emptiness.
really?
Yeah.
Okay, so it wasn't like you didn't like pity him. It was you felt empty.
I felt empty, yeah.
I want like, do you have more examples of why you felt empty based on the fact that
Here's what I can describe my physical and emotional reaction to, and which is why I liked it. I'm kind of a wired person. I'm super active and left and right and always moving and bouncy. I felt that, and it slowed my entire system down.
okay, this was like something about it. Like I used the word triggered, but I don't mean it in the way that it carries now. But
Well, triggered could just mean it.
Yeah.
Remind it. You know,
Yeah, so
there's a million meanings of it.
it could have triggered something else deeper for you. I don't know if that's a genetic thing. I think that was like hitting on something that you've felt before, and I don't know. Do you feel like that at all?
Do I feel like what at all?
Like, so what I'm gathering in my brain, I'm trying to understand.
No, I know
where you're
it's
getting at.
it's kind of a whack example.
So, him coming to terms with where he was at, did that make you feel like you were coming to terms with the things that you deal with?
Sure, yeah.
So, like, you were relating to it.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know so much that that's like a genetic thing. I think that's just like a human race type of thing.
Got it.
I think that like we feel really good, but you felt sad, which is interesting, but it was the same feeling. Like it was, you both were feeling the same thing, and that felt good. That somebody else felt that same way, maybe.
I think more so what I liked was that it forced me to slow down.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't like, oh, I've got all these... Because I'm usually thinking of 3 or 4 things at any given time. Mm-hmm. But this made me think of one thing.
Yeah.
And it made me like kind of sink down in my seat and be like, holy shit.
Really.
And focus on it.
Yeah.
And I liked that. I liked the...
Being still is super important, especially when a person like you and I have a lot in common, and in the sense where I'm like constantly thinking of so many different things at once. Actually...
Here we go. Thinking of so many different things. Here's another thing.
Something happened the other day to me where I've just been like having a crazy month, and emotionally like a lot has been playing. Like I've been like, yeah, I'm stressed. Like I tell fam, my sister came in my room and she's like, hey, are you okay? Are you having like an okay week? And I'm just like, yeah.
Damn.
I don't know how you could tell, but like, yeah, I've just been stressed about work. I've been just like stressed about like different little things, like my relationships, all sorts of different things. And then the other night, my dad's a pastor, so I went to like their night service. Like it was our first one, and it was so different than any like experience I've ever had in church before. And like the first 20 minutes was just like they kept the screen black, and like it was just quiet. Like it was about to start, it was a countdown, and then it started and it was quiet, and I was like, oh wow, there must be like technical difficulties. Like this is awkward. Like oh
That's
my
a little
God.
audio engineer trick.
Yeah.
I can tell you firsthand.
So, but then, like on the screen, it just said like silence, and then I was like, okay, and like after like 30 seconds, like silence can be awkward, and you're just like sitting there, and you're like, okay, I have to sit in this. Like this is what the process is right now. So I'm sitting in it quietly, and I'm just still, and then I start thinking about like the one thing, like out of all the crazy things that were happening in my life, there was just like one thing that made me, it just like, it popped out like in that silent still moment. I realized what it was.
Excuse me.
You're good.
Yeah.
So in that moment of being still and like, I was literally telling him about it. It's like you clear your head, and you always hear like meditating, clearing your head, things like that, and you don't really understand what that means. Like, okay, don't think about anything. Don't think about anything. But
I've been meditating, and that's not what it's about.
it's not what it's about, and
It's
I
not
guess
at all
I
what it's
have been
about.
too, and I didn't even realize it. Like, it's all of a sudden it just like overcame me what it was that was actually bothering me, and I was like, I was meditating. I was still. I was silent, and I wasn't thinking about all the other things that I thought it was. And when it was made clear to me, I started sobbing, and like I would call it sadness, but it wasn't like I wouldn't call it that. I was
Relief.
like so relieved to know now what it was that was bothering me, and now I know what to do to like stop it. And that night I solved the problem, and I was just like, oh my God, I don't even feel stressed about those little things I was stressed about before. It wasn't even that. I needed that still moment to come to the realization of what it actually was that was bothering me. But so I don't know if that relates to how you felt, but
Well, it serves as a great transition.
yeah.
And very eye-opening. But I've picked up meditating recently, and it's one of those things where like I remember going into Google and being like, how do you meditate? And
We all have done it.
and step one is like, just do it.
That is so true. You just have to just do it. There's no, it's different for everybody. Like you don't know what it's going to be. It's just going to like happen.
Yeah.
And when it does, it's honestly like super spiritual. And I think
Yeah.
that like me going to my dad's church recently, I'm like, you know, some aspects of like Christianity is very spiritual, and like 90% of Christians don't do it that way. And I can't even tell if it's like, if maybe just there's just like this big thing of spirituality that like pieces of like Buddhism, pieces of Christianity, pieces of whatever religion can like all come back to, and it's like it like comes back to you like processing things and sitting still and really understanding like where you're at. But
A good story about meditating is I was with my friend and I was asked to do a sit-in for a meditation class, and I was like, I was like freaking out. I was like, I'm not signed up for any classes at this college. And she's like, nah, it's cool, like
Yeah.
just come. It's like meditation, no one's gonna freak out.
yeah,
And
you can't be here.
but
Only
basically-
we get to meditate.
But it was one of those weird things, right? I was like, how many people are in this class? And she's like, it's like 15. And like 40 people showed up because everyone brought somebody.
Oh, that's awesome. That's
Yeah.
I love that.
That's what it was. So we sit down and they provide pillows for everyone. And the dude was like super like zen and whatever. And he was like, just remember, like, it's okay.
Yeah.
And then we did the sit, and I basically kept my eyes open the whole time looking around. Everyone
Couldn't be
was
vulnerable?
like, I couldn't. No, at that time, no.
No.
And I was looking around, and I remember being like, yo, these people are Fruit Loops, you know? Just
I know.
And then, like a few years later, I was like, yo, I've been having trouble sleeping, and I was like, yo, I need to try meditating.
Yeah.
And I sat down and I started meditating, and my first thought was like, focus on one thing. And then I was like, no, like, who cares?
Yeah.
And that was the realization of like, holy shit, like the fact that I could just sit down and like just be in control for however long
Being in control of yourself and your emotions and your decision making, like that is
forever how long I decide to sit down. That's
Yeah, it doesn't-
that's what this is about. It's like, it's not a matter of like,
I meditated for 2 hours. It's like if you did
Okay,
it for
so-
like 10 minutes, it's
Have you
like
seen the
you
meme?
probably are fine.
have you seen the meme real stoners versus fake stoners?
No.
Okay, there's a meme right now I've been seeing. It's like a real stoner and a fake stoner. If you ask them what they did the night before, a fake stoner would be like, bro, I smoked so much weed, it was so crazy, we just got so fucking high. And if you ask a real stoner, like, what'd you do last night, you'd be like, I just kind of chilled out.
You know it.
And
You
you'd be
know
like,
what that means.
oh, you know what that means. Yeah. And it's like the same idea with that. It's like there's no right way to be like, how was your meditation? It was great. I saw God and like Jesus was there and like he was dunking on it
over myself.
Yeah, and like I saw from outside my body. It's like, how was meditation? It was like, I don't know, like
it got real.
Yeah, like I focused on my breathing. Like that's the thing. It's like
it can be journaling, it can be reading, it could be listening to music, it could be driving.
It's whatever you do for yourself.
It's always different.
It's not supposed to be special in and of itself. It's special because you make that time for you.
Yeah, you're on the nose.
But then when we talked about like my ability to time travel and your ability to cross dimensions.
Hello?
Hi.
What?
Okay.
We talked about this in a previous episode where sometimes I'll get home from work and I'll sit down on my bed or lay down on my bed and I won't be asleep, but
Lucid dreaming?
I'll just space the fuck out for like a solid 2 hours and I'll snap back into reality and be like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah. I feel like I do that every morning.
So it's like a temporal, just like time travel. It's like,
how do you stay focused for that long though?
He zones out.
That's
it's just like I'm just gone for a solid 2 hours. And
it
like,
is what it is.
I get home at 5 and it's like, it's fucking 7. It's like, Jesus Christ, like what the fuck just happened?
That's insane.
And so you say when you were meditating, you were kind of just like connecting timelines or something?
Yeah. So
we get real
like
weird.
So you know the multiverse theory of like Marvel?
Just in general.
Oh yes.
So like there's an infinite number of universes.
Yes.
And all universes are the same and different at the exact same time because on a timeline there's infinite possibilities, so infinite things happen. It's funny because like between you and me and a camera, it's like
Sounds
normal.
Fucking normal. But when
like,
you explain to someone else, you're a wacko.
But I know I sound like a psychopath every time I say this.
No, you don't.
I
come out saying I can time travel and he can hop dimensions.
Well,
and
when
you're
you
just
say
like,
it like
what the fuck?
when you just say it like that, like I can time travel, I'm like, well, okay, whatever that means.
Please elaborate. But basically, when I meditate, there's like signals, right? And it's like, you ever wake up and go and you can't catch your breath?
Yes.
And you're like, holy shit.
Yes.
Can't relate.
Yes.
But it's not just that. It could be anything as simple as like sitting down on this couch, watching a TV show and being like, I've seen this one before. Or like just any deja vu or anything weird. Anything you're just like, ooh, like you get the chills.
I know exactly.
I get those. Yeah. And I was meditating one time and I opened my eyes and I could swear everything was the same, but I was a different person. And it made a little more clear to me.
I don't mean that in a weird way. I'm just like, I want to do that.
It made a little more clear to me, and I swear to God I was sober. And it made a little more clear to me like that, like the multiverse is like, it's inevitable, right? Like it's one of those things like
you think so?
Yeah, for sure.
He's experienced it.
Yeah, it's one of those things like I can't even deny it. It's like I've lived it.
Wow.
But like I open my eyes and I'm like, I'm in the same room, I'm sitting on the same pillow, I'm the same person with the same name, but it's not me. It's a different version of me that I've jumped into. And I've had this theory of my life has been so lucky and so crazy at the same time to where as many of me has died, as many as me has lived, to where I'm lucky enough to jump.
Like versions of you? Or do you mean like literally?
Okay, so
in other universes.
Let's say we end this podcast and on the way home I die in a car accident. On the way downstairs, and like that's like Earth reality, this reality that we're in right now, and I just jumped, just so you know. So whatever I just said just triggered it. It's as fast as that, and it's one of those things. I go home, and on the way home I crash, I die, whatever happens in the afterlife. But because I walk down the stairs and I see something or I feel a chill or something, I jump to a different thing.
I know what you're saying.
So I'm not the one in the car crash. I jump to a timeline where I'm not in the car crash.
But
I'm still me in the present moment.
Well, because every single millisecond is different.
But it's also synced.
Yes. Okay.
So the fact that we have the podcast every Monday and Wednesday, the fact that I meditate every day before going to bed, the fact that I have the routine, it just offers more checkpoints, if you will.
I get it, yeah.
For me to jump to.
Yeah.
So it's like at any point I could be leaving this podcast, and it's going to be one of those things where like today is Saturday, I hope, if
it
the
is.
26th that we talked about. See, my watch says the 30th.
Maybe this is the different
But
version of
But this is what I'm saying.
like,
This is what I'm saying though. Like I set my watch every time before I wear it.
From the future.
So it's one of those fucking weird things of like.
was that something you planned? Like
I-
this whole story was like,
Right.
and this is the 30th. Like,
I'm not
saying.
selling anything.
Like, you know, I have my friend when I was playing volleyball, my first year of college. I remember her telling me she had this feeling that every time she was driving in her car, she felt like. No, she felt this urge to jump out. Like,
Oh my God.
Not like suicidal.
I have the urge to go into
but,
the
like,
oncoming traffic.
I feel like I've had them like, what if I just drove into that wall? Like,
All the time.
What is,
All the time.
what's keeping me from
All the
doing
time.
that? I can make this decision at
And
any given
this is the
moment.
thing. This is the thing between Arizonians, right?
It must be. But she's
People
like,
always
I
just
feel
fucking
like
hate their life.
in another life, I died in a car accident.
Yeah.
Like that's why I have this like urge, and I'm like, yeah,
Same thing with anxiety or like fear or like even excitement, right? Like, let's say you're gonna go play volleyball and you're like, oh fuck, I'm fucking hyped to play volleyball.
Yeah.
Maybe you were like a pro volleyball player at the age of 16 in a different.
in
a
that'd
different
be great.
jump.
I wish I was in that jump.
But you're not. You're in this jump, right?
I'm in this jump. Yeah,
And-
I'll make the best of it.
but it's one of those things like I can't control the jump, and it's one of those things I feel the jump, I'm aware of the jump,
Yeah.
but it's also like I get
What if like when we like lose our train of thought, like that's when like another
100% is possible.
I'm like,
You jump out.
oh, man, my other
totally
Chase,
possible.
she knew what she wanted to say. And
It's
now
totally
I'm like,
possible.
Dang.
and then
I'm
the-
empty.
and then there's future theory, which is like the future, if you're living it right, is always changing, which is why I lose train of thought so much, which is why you lose train of thought so much, which is why whatever you do when you're doing it and you're just like, oh shit, what was the yeah.
Oh my god. All of that
Because-
is too confusing for me to I can't even focus on the present and if I'm thinking about those things.
But if it was real, and I'm not saying it is, but if it was real, if you could future jump or universal jump, wouldn't that be the time to do it? When
But
you're
it's like,
fucking,
why
when
would
you're,
you want to?
you're not in control of it. I don't understand it, but I'm saying if you jumped at one point and you're like, oh yeah, I was just gonna go grab a drink. Oh yeah, I was just gonna ask Josh for another beer. Like, of course, that's when you do it because you space out. When I'm telling you a story, I'm pretty sure I've done it 3 times during this podcast. You've done it, and Josh has done it. Oh shit, what was I talking
Yeah.
about? And that's the jump. And then that person jumps into this body being like, oh, this is what I wanted to do at this time.
Yeah.
And now, oh shit, yeah, can I get another beer? Oh yeah, this is my story. And it's like, you're different, but it's like you experience.
Yeah.
And that's the thing I'm trying to figure out. I was like, are you experiencing the best one? Are you experiencing the worst one?
Is it
Does
all
it
subjective?
matter?
There is
Yeah.
no yeah.
And it's one of those things like, all I know is you're on the roller coaster and it's not going to stop until it stops.
See, I can't get on board with the theory because it's like if that is the way I'm like so big on like purpose and knowing what like I'm supposed to be doing, like my strengths and like whatever it is I'm supposed to do in this world.
What is your purpose?
We'll get to that. But
Your voice is so sexy.
That's because I went so close.
And you're like, what is your purpose?
but
I am your father.
I'm like,
No.
if it was me jumping and in other like infinite universes, then it's like, okay, now I don't have a purpose because where is the end jump? Like I'm just like dying, and that would give me like this. That would make me depressed, like knowing that's the way the world works.
Good thing
Because
you can just jump to a new one that's not.
But you don't know that's how the world works.
I don't know. No one knows anything. None of us know. Wait, we're
God
all
bless
just
Except for the New World Order and the lizard people. Shouts out to
I'm
you.
sure they know. Wouldn't it be nice to just know? But
Can't relate.
Let me cut you off right there because the girlfriend I was telling you about,
oh, he's about to
I'm about to open up.
Ooh.
I really appreciate you, man. I really do. I really do vibe
Thank
with you. I told her that one time, and she's like, "If you had any superpower, what would it be?" I'd be like to know everything. And I swear to God, she looks at me and she goes, "That wouldn't be fun." And for a minute, like I just kind of looked at her and I was like,
Bye.
"Holy shit, you're right."
She's right, absolutely.
100%. And I was like, "Yo."
You wouldn't learn anything. Like you would be.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
I don't know.
It'd be, what's the point?
Exactly.
And here we are searching for the point.
The point is to learn and be present. And it's like, that's all it is.
And the one thing we're trying to find out is the point. But if we are told the point, it's the same thing as...
There's no point.
Yeah.
I get it.
I think it'd be a solid, fun, like 3 months, and then you just fucking kill yourself. Because then
That's what...
It'd be a shitty That's So Raven episode for sure.
Yeah.
Because you already know, like, everything or, like, the world has to offer. It's like... Yeah, sure, there is no point in, like, living out this whole life. Like, okay, well, you already know what the fuck's going to happen. There's no point. So you might as well just enjoy the time you got for,
That's
like...
all you got.
For, like, a month or two, and then just, oh, well, bye. I know what's going to happen. Take it to the grave.
Here's the thing, though, too. If I could go back to the jumping thing real quick. It's one of those things, like, the way I see it is like a superpower, right? It's like a weird superpower.
Well,
so, like,
now I can only think of...
Yeah, I always snap for it. That's what it feels like to me, though. It's like a fucking... There's a rhythm.
Whatever his name is.
Thanos.
Yeah.
Thanos? There's a rhythm to it. But anyway, fuck, I lost it. You gotta be kidding me.
God!
Hang on.
Jump.
No.
Hang
on. Hang on. I got this. It's a superpower. And I can't control the superpower, but, like, not everyone has the same superpower. So I kind of interpret it as not everybody can jump, but it is there among us. And, like, maybe you could fly in a certain universe, but I don't visit that universe.
Yeah.
Or...
Because there's so many. There's no way.
Or you still live in Arizona in that universe, and we just never connected. And it's just one of those things of, like, we just don't cross that path. And, like, for some reason, the path I'm taking is a weird, realistic one with a twist that I could jump.
Do you like having that complicated mindset, or would you rather be, like, accepting of, like, the reality of what is happening?
That is a great question. That's a great question. I love the complicated mindset. I think it gives me purpose. It's the reason I meditate at night, and it keeps me driven to find answers that I think are unanswerable. I think the most simple form is Josh and I played video games together.
Yep.
And there's some video games where you can F6
Smite.
and you just quit. You surrender.
Never surrender.
But I played football in high school, and I played sports all my life. And it was, no matter how much you're down, you can always come back. And I like to interpret that into my life and my personal life and just say, look, I got nowhere to live. I got no one in my corner. I don't have shit. I don't have money. I don't have a car. Whatever it is that you don't have, you have to keep going. And that's all there is. There is no losing until you quit. There is no losing until you surrender. You don't fail until you quit. You don't fail until you surrender. And Ian, it's the same thing in the music business. Welcome to it, because I swear to God, man, I've met so many people. I've worked with so many people who I do a song with, and then they walk away. And they're insanely talented. They sound so good. They're incredible. But they don't believe in it. And it's not for them. And that's okay. Because the weird thing is...
Well, it's funny you say it's not for them. It's literally like they're doing it for the wrong reason.
They're doing it for their parents.
Or other people validation from friends or being cool. It's like...
Here's 100% of the issue I run into, bro. It's like they do it for their friends or their parents.
The image.
Or the image or the status or whatever. You cannot do shit in this world for that reason. You need to do it because you love it. And I talk with Josh about this all the time, so I'm sorry because you're hearing it again.
It's okay.
But it's literally that. It's like we can't forfeit the Smite game because I want to win. Because we wouldn't be playing if we wanted to lose. We wouldn't be playing if we wanted anything less than the victory.
Unless you're building mechanical skill, but that's a whole nother topic.
Yeah.
But there's nothing else in this world that you should do or want unless you want to do it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's like, it's so simple. It's so
but
fucking simple.
you don't realize it until like you are, like with photojournalism, I think that I really just wanted to look like I was like an esteemed, smart person. Like I was more than just like the athlete I grew up as.
And that's the thing. You get to that point, and then my brother David goes, hey, asshole.
Yeah.
It's one job.
Yeah.
You worked for Disney. You made $1,000. big fucking deal.
Yeah,
It's not a lot of
exactly.
money.
I'm like, oh yeah, I got.
It's
like,
not enough money.
I got published in something. Oh, okay, now
Who
what?
cares?
Like now I don't feel.
Who
I don't feel
cares? You did
anything.
it. Who
Even like
cares?
my transformation post, like that was, like yeah, I did it. It's like I still am living. Like it's like, oh, that's my peak. It's like no, like I'm still have to fucking
dude,
do that.
the best thing I feel like I've ever said. The best thing I feel like I've ever said is the credits don't roll.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? You get.
There's no destination. I always say that
you
too.
Wanna,
it's like
you want to go work for
Yeah.
Disney. You get one job. They pay you $1,000. You could pay rent that month.
Yeah.
And then guess what?
You
The
still
credits
wake up
don't.
the next
The credits don't roll. You have to go to work the next day and find another fucking movie to score for. And 30 movies later, you're gonna fucking hate it. And then you're gonna get married and have kids. And then the credits don't roll. And then you're gonna keep going. And you're gonna keep going. So make sure you get going in something that you want to keep going in.
It doesn't matter how hard you get hit. It matters how hard you get hit and you keep moving forward.
Exactly. If you want to play Smite, play Smite to win. Don't play Smite to fucking forfeit and surrender like a bitch. You keep
Can't submit to
going.
the universe, then.
What's
Build
up?
your mechanical
Can't submit to the
skill.
universe, then.
I can't hear him. Sorry, 1 second.
I'm just saying, you were talking about the multiverse and kind of like
Yeah.
letting it all unfold you, but what you're describing is not submitting to the universe.
I like that.
Finding a purpose, like Chase was talking about, for yourself, despite the possibility of all these different realities.
Don't submit to the multiverse.
Don't submit to the multiverse.
Wait.
Be that one timeline that perseveres and shoots through.
It even
That's.
exists.
I was hearing that from his
No, the
story, too.
one. No. Okay, hang on.
It doesn't matter
Hang
how
on.
hard you get hit.
Is jumping and going to another timeline not getting back up? Considering all the times
Well, that's just-
we've been knocked down.
No, that's like if that's just the way it is, then
Well, let's say that one timeline you give up and kill yourself. Would that not be surrendering?
Goals.
I don't.
Would that if I drove home today and got in a car accident and died, is that not the same as surrendering? You still
Are you
lose.
taking Santa
There
Rosa
is-
or Somas?
Shut up.
There's
You're surrendering to everything outside of yourself.
Say that again. I'm sorry.
You're surrendering to everything that's going on
Yeah.
outside of yourself, because you're only in control of who
you can't.
are.
Yeah, you can't control like a car hitting you. Like that's out of your control. So you're not surrendering.
You
You're
can try your best.
yeah. Does that make sense?
It's not in the control, but the jump avoids it.
Assuming,
I don't know what your point is.
assuming you jump before that, sure. But if you don't,
Sure.
if you
When
don't
I-
jump in time, you're gone.
When I asked like, would you?
I feel like a psycho patient right now.
No. You're not. You're not. We're all
We
thinking these
all
things
are.
constantly. Like when I asked, would you prefer to think about life in that complex way of all these different universes?
100% yes.
So you prefer doing that, and then versus accepting the reality of like what is happening, like which is just accepting the moment that I'm in, not overcomplicating it, thinking about all the different infinite universes that I'm jumping through, but really honing in on what I control in where I am, like internally in this one universe. I'm not gonna overthink it. I'm just gonna like be present, because all I can live in is the present, and I don't know if there's other universes. So if I start thinking about that, it's honestly taking me out of the present realm. And I think that accepting, it's not really so much face value, but accepting like where I'm at is accepting like the reality of what is, not so much all these other different complex theories that we're living through. Does that make sense? I kind of circled around,
Yes.
came to a spot, parked, pulled out a little bit,
Back into the
had to get
Fiat
some
behind
gas.
you.
Yeah, I had a Fiat.
So did my brother.
I'm sorry.
I appreciate that. It was rough.
The issue is no matter what universe you jump into, you have no control.
That's how I feel about me.
Your
just
eyes just
being-
flickered. I've only seen that once in one other person.
What do you mean?
They just twitched.
No. What?
Are you saying?
What do you mean
her
by
eyes
flickered?
twitched?
They like
I do that a lot.
intentionally?
No, I think that when I was in high school, I really just like to cross my eyes as like a joke. So it's just kind of like become a habit. Like just every now and then when I'm
Describe
thinking,
what
I'm
you
like,
saw.
like
In her
that?
eyes.
Yes.
like a crazy person.
Is it the caffeine?
Was I thinking? Was I like?
Was it like a twitch or
Well, I
like
assume you're always thinking.
Like I was about to go deep in my thinking process.
sometimes you're not always thinking.
It
Trust.
looked like you were
True.
about to blink. Yeah, you're right. It looked like you were about to blink, but instead, have you ever taken a picture and you're like mid blink and you have derp face? It was that.
Oh, like this? Like the eye twitch?
Yeah, except for your eyes. Your eyes fell symmetrically.
Oh my god, you really paid attention to this split second.
You should ask him about my dreams.
Oh my god.
Which I could go into if you want me to.
I have to come back.
Yeah, please.
A follow-up for sure.
No shit.
I'm gonna have to start focusing on
Every
the
doctor,
multi-universe.
every doctor needs a good follow-up, and your two
Absolutely,
psychiatric
yeah,
patients here need your
yeah.
help.
I'm here to listen.
Just describe what did you see? Just describe it. Use words.
Your eyes fell, and
Like half blink?
half blink. It was like
Was it this? Like
it was this. It was your eyes went halfway closed and then they opened again. and
Both of them?
Yes, and instead of blinking, your eyes like
God.
do a little shake like this. Am I doing it? Are you seeing it?
I'm seeing this. This is what I'm seeing.
Okay, so hang on.
Like this?
Your eyes aren't moving,
I'm
dude.
glad this is recorded.
It-
like this is
okay,
making me,
I'm glad
I'm
too, I
excited
guess,
for
but-
everyone to see.
It feels like my eyes are okay. Have you seen Fight Club?
Yes.
Everything comes back to Fight Club for some fucking
Fuck
reason
me,
on this
dude!
goddamn
Oh my
show.
god! Okay,
That's why you've got all these concepts because of Fight Club, I'm assuming.
it's a great movie.
It is a great one of my favorites.
My favorite.
It's a great movie.
You know the scene where he's talking to the camera and the reel starts to
You just see Brad Pitt like
yeah
flicker.
yeah
Yeah.
like that, but only for your eyes.
Oh my god. I don't know.
It was an experience for sure.
interesting.
We could always pull it back on the
We-
recording.
yeah, we
see if
can.
this
It's
is-
not gonna matter.
Yeah, because I've been facing.
If
this
you were
way.
looking at me, it doesn't matter. You're not.
we
gonna
needed
see
a
it.
camera like right there for sure. Unfortunately. Man,
And
we get
now I
sidetracked
lost.
so
now
fast.
I was gonna say, and now I lost what I was gonna. I was saying something,
I
wasn't I?
knew.
before
I had a
that?
feeling you would. I had a feeling.
Dope.
The issue is, no matter where you jump, you don't have the control.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to jump to where you have survival, and that is control.
But you said you can't control where you jump.
Correct. So
Shit, you
don't-
found a fucking paradox.
which is why it's like a superpower, because if you can't hear him in the microphone, he said, I don't have control of where I jump. And it's because it's one of those things like the superpower, it's like it's trying to wake me up to the idea of it.
Wake me up.
Wake me up inside.
Can't wait.
Before I come on.
Is this like a? Like,
Okay.
Are we talking about like a Matrix style thing now?
Probably.
I don't know. He just
Wake me up like
He's-
in this
he's- he-
other.
he's really smart in challenging my ideas,
He
so I have
fucking-
to defend it.
He also fucking loves the Matrix.
I also do love the Matrix. It's not even fair.
That's like a whole nother. I mean, is that like a concept that you're toying with in this like multi-universe, infinite land?
I really feel like a patient now.
Are you plugged in?
No, I think we've all thought
We're all
these
plugged
things.
in.
We've all thought these things, but I've really let
Can't
go
agree.
of really.
Yeah.
I've really let go of all of these theories because they've really they drown me. They've honestly made me depressed
Here-
like thinking about.
And here's what I'm trying. I think the point to make is you asked earlier if I had the choice to accept the reality or live in insanity of essentially right
of wondering like
of seeing of
other
wondering things.
theories. Yeah, I guess.
And I choose not to be like this is the world as it is because I accept it.
But that I don't mean that in like that mundane way. Like we were talking about how you said that friend of yours, she's like, I just don't care, dude. Like I just like live my life. Like I don't mean it in that way. I mean it like not overcomplicating life, but still thinking deep about things, but different deep things of like my emotions, my relationships, my purpose, my goals, my foundation, and they sound like so simple and like suburban and just like those basic little
Suburban's
outlines.
a great word.
So it's like those sound shitty, but they actually have so much more value when we put more intention behind them.
Am I not putting more intention behind these things? These
I mean,
small
what's the
things?
intention behind thinking about all the other theories? What can you do with that?
Controlling who I am and finding my place in the universe and beyond.
But you're always the same person.
think we all are
in different
maybe
positions.
there's no point in this. There's no point, and maybe
Your theory is bunk.
it could be.
But it's something I experience. You guys don't. So it's one of those weird things of like.
Yeah, but I can time travel and you can't.
Exactly. You can time travel and I could space jump, but it's
Mine's
different.
cooler. Mine's better.
I don't know. I like mine a
Subjective.
lot. Yeah, it's one of those things. Like, would you make fun of Storm for not being able to control metal with her mind? No.
Yes. Fucking loser.
Okay. Would you call? Name a superhero. First one to your mind.
I don't know why, but Flash came to my mind.
Flash. Perfect. Ian, name a superhero. Batman. Perfect. Do you think they want to be each other,
Want to be one or the other?
Maybe.
or do you think they
Well, they
spend?
have no the superheroes to me have no
Flaws.
depth. No, like there's
No. Who the fuck do you think you are coming onto this podcast saying superheroes have no depth?
they just.
Do you
there's
know
no-
how much I love superheroes?
He's seen.
I'm sorry to understand. I've hit a nerve.
He's seen every DC animated superhero movie.
Literally everyone.
But it's a movie, so it's like there's no depth to the character.
Get fucked.
Especially a superhero. Like there's no artistic depth. Like they didn't create them having like. Yeah, the others should have like a horrible childhood or something. But like
Why did Bruce Wayne become Batman?
His parents died.
Yeah.
That's not depth. If your parents died, you wouldn't feel anything.
Nope.
We only know like the surface level. Like people's parents die. and
That's
it's
not
like,
surface level. There's 12 movies about him.
I'm sure he has more depth in him just than the pain of his parents dying. Like there's
Yeah, he also goes through a really hard breakup.
there's
Do you
still
want to relate
more
to him
depth.
through that?
There's
Dick
still so
Grayson.
much more.
He also-
we only know like the
He also-
tangible pain that he's gone
He
through.
also has like 3 kids and they died. 2 of them died. Do you know
Batman?
that? Yes, Batman.
I didn't even know he had kids.
Oh, because there's no depth for you.
They're not.
I guess
they're not
I
like
haven't.
they're not
I
like
haven't
biological.
dived
My
into
point
Batman.
being, do you think Flash goes to Batman being like, yo, let me wear your utility belt, and Batman goes to Flash being like, yeah, no problem. Can I just run 1,000 miles an hour?
Probably.
No, they cannot exchange powers.
I think
But you asked, do they want to?
we don't know
We
what
don't
they're
know.
thinking.
That's
doesn't
what I'm
matter.
saying.
It
We
doesn't
don't
matter
know.
because they can't.
I think that if the Flash had Batman's utility belt, he'd be
They
pretty
can't.
fucking unstoppable.
The Flash could use Batman's,
the Flash doesn't need Batman's utility belt.
but if he wants,
Challenge me on this. I swear to God, I'm a DC nerd.
but
having
he
extra
could because
tools.
Batman doesn't even have any superpowers. Like all he
He's
had
got
is his
money.
money, and so.
Shit, we're
See,
on the
that's a
same
meme.
page.
Yeah.
That's a meme.
It's
But
true,
it's
though.
the truth. Literally,
All he has is money, and his parents are
all
dead.
we know is what's true,
He
and
was-
what's true is that Flash could
karate.
be Batman Flash.
he was
Flash,
also trained by
wait,
Ra's
Batman
al-
couldn't be Flash.
Raj
Batman.
Al Ghul.
He was also trained by
William
Ra's al-
Neeson.
Shut up.
None of this matters.
It does matter.
These are
because
tangible things that the Flash can
This is
obtain.
this is the depth you claim. There's nothing
He
there.
wasn't born like the Batman wasn't born into it like the Flash was.
You're
Or-
right. He had to choose it. So it's different for every
So if the
superhero.
So that
Flash
makes it greater than
chose
the
to do
Flash.
it, then he would.
The Flash. Okay, so
How the turntables.
how the turntables. When the Flash got hit with the particle accelerator, which gave him his powers.
I didn't know that.
Well then, obviously,
That was just a coincidence.
Then you're not well equipped to argue this point.
I'm not. I'm really not. But I'm gonna try.
you're gonna fuck it up.
I'm gonna try.
When the Flash was hit with the particle accelerator, giving him his powers super
Yes,
fast,
of course.
he chose to use those powers for good. Mm-hmm. That's a choice.
But then there's a
Yes.
yellow Flash that's bad.
he's the anti-Flash.
Yeah.
Okay, but
He goes
Batman.
super slow.
Supposed to- okay, what happened to the Flash?
So the
was-
anti-Flash is just dial up. He's a,
He didn't choose to have the superpower though. That's what I'm getting at. Like
But you could choose to use it.
that doesn't matter.
Yes, it does.
But that's
it
not
absolutely
that's not
does.
the point of the
I
question.
don't think it matters.
The point of the question was if the Flash wanted to be Batman, then he could.
No, he couldn't.
Yes, he could.
No, he couldn't.
He could.
I mean,
100%.
anyone can go under.
He would
go
be the
through
Flash.
that training.
They're all heroes.
He can try to be Batman.
He could be Batman in the sense that they are both vigilantes
Yeah.
and or heroes.
Is Batman a vigilante?
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
He's above the law.
I feel like, not to discredit you,
I've lost all credit in this
I feel like I'm
superhero
talking to the
conversation.
popular girls at school
Oh my god!
about why Spider-Man is the best superhero, and all she cares about.
My
Is-
Hydro Flask has Spider-Man
is-
on it. I've just like completely destroyed myself.
You
so.
are a fake fan. Sips tea.
Also with the straw and tipping it forward.
There's no
Seriously.
I'm just a popular girl.
Were you popular in school?
Popular is a subjective word.
I think you were.
You got a lot of friends?
I had some friends.
I mean, you have 1,300 Facebook friends.
You know a lot about me, Josh. It's really coming out in this conversation.
It's doing
No
research.
shit.
You
This
have
is
to
my
know your
job.
audience. You know
This is my job.
Yeah,
Hey,
exactly.
man, I got an idea for the next podcast. I'll bring the girl I stalked on, and we can interview her. Does that sound like a good idea?
I didn't stalk Chase, okay?
He just.
I did research.
I didn't
did
choose the
research.
stalking life. The stalking life chose me. And you want to
It's
argue
fine.
Batman and Flash with me? You guys are psychopaths,
He should
not
have
me.
known. He should have
You
known
guys are
better.
psychopaths. I'm normal. Kobe, don't drink that water.
Dang.
Oh my fucking
You're
god.
painting me in a bad light.
No, you're.
You don't need me
you're
to do
being
that, homie.
vulnerable. You're being vulnerable. It's
Seriously.
How is it being
Josh.
vulnerable?
If
Because
there's
you're being
more than I
honest
did
about the fact that
research.
you knew things about me. Yeah.
Look,
Some
if-
people would think it's weird, but it's not weird.
I'm just talking.
Fuck you.
I'm just talking shit because he's my best friend.
Of course, naturally.
There's so many
You're
girls I
allowed to
know
do that.
exactly how many followers they have.
Exactly.
So many?
Does that make it better?
The fact that
Yes,
it's
you've
more
made
than
it.
one?
You've made your point. Yeah, for sure.
Fair enough.
Fucking weirdo.
Oh, okay. No, it doesn't matter.
You said more than one.
No judgment. No
That's
judgment.
weird.
It was a joke.
Tons of judgment.
Where were we?
Literally.
Batman and the Flash.
No, we're not going back to that.
We're not
way.
going back. There's not a chance.
Were
I
you
don't know
popu-
enough.
Were you popular in school?
Yeah, were you popular in school? You had to be. Like,
Real shit. You played a sport.
did you
I'm
make?
very social.
Did you bully or make fun of anyone in
Never.
school?
Ooh.
One time in
always
seventh
that
grade,
one
I was
kid.
put in the bully box for something that I.
What does that
fuck is
mean?
a bully
There's a
box?
bull.
We had a like,
You guys
know,
playing
like
hockey?
at that point in like middle school and like bullying was like really big. You had all of these like seminars
No.
you had to go to.
No, I was the
No?
kid getting his shit beat out of his
No,
shorts.
I didn't do that. No, there was like a traumatic time where
She's not a fighter. Doesn't look like.
absolutely not.
She does look
I'm
like one of those mean
definitely-
girls who was like, "You're poor,"
No.
and snaps all the
no.
time.
Everyone in our fucking
I feel
area
like-
had the same amount of money.
I know.
I feel like if you're bullying somebody, you're seeking validation from others, and you're like
And you just didn't need that?
projecting. Well, that's the thing. Like at that point
You're
in middle school,
insecure.
I did something to somebody.
What'd you do?
You know, I'll just tell it. Like,
And- yeah,
her
and would you- and would
her
you like to
actually had
apologize?
her and I actually just had a conversation about it like years later.
Who
So
was
then
it?
you good. Is this
Do
the one?
I know this
Is this the
person?
one you were like, "I want you
Ah,
in the rest
shit,
of my
I
life
know
for"?
This person.
I'll tell you about it later because she had a post about it the other day.
Ooh.
So
The other day, what the
had
fuck happened?
was in middle school I was talking to some friends and I had like said, man, she's like so annoying. Like something she did, I was just like just venting, but it turned into something bigger and it was bad.
She's just jealous because I'm Catwoman and she's
Oh,
the
God.
Flash
Oh
and
my
she wants to be
God. She wa-
Catwoman.
No.
Now I have to
we
go-
closed that book.
Now I have to
Alright,
flip through this
alright.
catalog of all the people I know from back then, and
I'll
it's
show
like
you. I'll tell you.
just
I'll
wait,
tell
just
you.
wait.
I'll tell
Yeah.
you.
it's going
So
all back.
afterwards, people were around and like somebody's like, yeah, and then it turned into that like mob mentality where like we're all just like agreeing.
Oh, that's the worst.
It was like 3 of us, and we're mob
It's a mob, a small mob, but a mob.
That's enough.
Still a mob. It is. It's enough to cause a lot of hurt. So 3 of us decided that we were the said name hate club, and word got
You had a
around.
bad girls club.
It was not intentional. Literally,
You
I was like,
had
it got
a
away
bad
from me.
girls
I
club.
had
They had
no
a burn
idea.
You had
There
a
was
bad girls
It was a
club.
one-time thing, and it turned into apparently we had meetings, and there was never meetings, and so
Were there any group phone calls?
Sleepovers.
no, there's no group texts. Group texts weren't a thing then.
Okay.
But if there were a thing, it probably would have happened. But somebody put my name in the bully box saying I was bullying her. We had to have, I remember getting called down to the gym, and we had to have, she got called down to the gym, all of our teachers were there, intervention, facing each other, like talking about what happened.
That's fucking awkward. as
And
hell.
it was awkward, and she was so, I like,
that's a horrible thing to put a kid through, by
Yeah,
the way.
we-
Don't put them in the same room with the bullies and be like,
yeah.
they said you're bullying
Say
them.
sorry.
Because guess what? They only bully you harder.
Well, not for me. I obviously, like, I felt very
Well, I'm glad you
shitty.
learned your lesson.
But listen, it gets better. So that moment, she's like, "Oh, it's okay." She felt bad because she felt bad for me because I was the only one it was pinned on. Nobody else got in trouble but me. So she felt bad about that, and she just wanted to pretend like everything was cool. Nobody knows about it. Like this didn't happen. No one pity me. And this is something like we had a conversation about recently. So then years later, we were friends after that. Like no big deal. My senior year, we were both in student government, and we did these things called like I forgot what it was called, but we would basically have like a vulnerable session. One person
Like a
would
safe
go,
space kind of thing?
Yeah. So I remember we were sitting next to each other and we were like, okay, it's Chase's turn to tell her story. And for some reason, like, what was on my heart for like most of my years of high school was like what I had done to said person. And I told her, like, she was sitting next to me and I was like, honestly, like, what went down in middle school, like, I still hold a lot of weight from it. I still feel really guilty about it, and I just want to like publicly like apologize to you. Like, to this day, like,
That takes a big person to do that, so respect to you.
thank you. And she definitely received it that way and never held any resentment towards me, which was also huge. Like, she could have really, that could have been really damaging, and she could have like really painted me out to be a really bad person, because what I did sucked. I was a kid though, and she had grace for me, which was I'm super appreciative for. And the other day she called me, she texted me, and she was like, she lives in New York now, and she goes, hey, can I call you?
That narrows it down.
I know. And she's like,
I know who it is.
You do?
Yes. At least
And-
I think I do.
So she goes, can I talk to you? And she started telling me about a therapy session she had. And I was like, oh, God, like, this is all you do? Like, you talk about me and your therapy sessions? Like, I really fucked
Yeah,
you
you're
up.
that important.
But that was not the case. It was like a one-time thing. And they like really processed it, and she wanted to talk to me about it. And she's like, I just want to know like what your experience was back then. Like, how was it for you? Like, I'm just trying to like get a mental picture of it all. And I told her my experience. We both remembered the exact same things, and she would like thanked me for the way I've like handled it. And then I just like was so appreciative towards her, the way she handled it, like coming full, like I bullied her and she made me feel so good about myself, full circle. Like, I didn't deserve that. I'm like, oh my God, like, thank you, because I would have lived with it forever and like never forgiven myself. But you made me like really like a, let me see.
Spelling is fucking atrocious.
Yes. You got it right.
Okay.
He's a genius.
I learned that from
He
my
is pretty
research
smart.
too.
If she's listening, you can say hey without the name. I'm sure she doesn't want.
Hi.
What's up?
How's
Hey,
New
babe.
York? I got a few friends from high school who are in New York right now. I bet
Probably
you they
know
all.
each other.
I bet
We've
you they
been
all hang
talking
out.
for 2 hours and 46 minutes. I didn't
Hey,
know I had it in me.
what's up?
And I still have a voice.
I know. I looked at that earlier and I was like, holy shit.
That's a long
We did it.
time. We really did do it.
We're just having a conversation.
But
It's all
yeah,
natural.
I mean,
Wow.
you came all the way from Arizona, so why would you want anything
You're
less?
right. You had to send it, I guess.
You really, I mean, you
Had a lot.
really committed to this, so you might as well.
I was pretty stoked. I was like, when you asked me, I was like, dang, I don't really know what to say, but I guess I can just I can tell some stories, tell some of my experiences.
We never got
and-
into any of that.
You know, you just heard a
I mean,
pretty,
yeah,
personal
that-
story. That's public now, and everyone knows I'm a jerk.
The internet's forever.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure if everyone thinks you're a jerk, but the person who actually has reason to call you a jerk forgives you, then everyone else can suck your dick.
That's right. You heard it here.
That's kind of what I go by.
I can call someone out for having a fear. At least, I mean, it's a pretty shit fear. Just like,
Where's
So-
this going?
I know.
This took a weird turn.
Chad,
Yeah.
when I moved away, and like,
Was he like your
fucking-
bestie? I don't know why.
He was. We
Okay,
were
I
like
thought so, yeah.
best friends back in the day. And I had a sleepover. I invited him over. He spent half of the night, but he
Are we
left.
about to tell some secrets?
He
about
left
other people?
early because he thought there were ghosts in my house, and he was too afraid to stay the night.
Mm-hmm.
But also, his dad was a fucking psychic.
Well, I was gonna say, yeah,
So like, there's probably some shit going on there.
absolutely. Yeah, Chad told me some interesting things in my life. I won't go into it right now, but like I can tell you.
That
Separately.
family is kind of fucking interesting.
They're super interesting. Like,
Jesus
I wish
Christ.
Chad was. I think about that. Chad, I think about this often. How I wish I could have
Damn,
a
Chad.
conversation
She thinks
with
about you all the time.
He is a bodybuilder.
Damn, Chad. I think
Unfortunately,
about
it's
you
not
all the
in
time.
that realm.
He's super fucking attractive now, though.
Damn,
So, like,
Chad.
Wow.
Good for
Call
Chad.
me.
Chad, I'm about to call you out, but
He's
when
a
we were
Chad.
in fourth
Chad's a
grade,
Chad, bro.
Chad drew a portrait of me and he left it on my desk while I was at recess. Sorry, Chad,
And
but
fucking Miss
I still
Claypool's
have
class.
it somewhere. Miss Claypool's class is exactly what class? No, maybe it was 5th grade. Maybe it was Miss Dorn's class. I don't remember now. But either
Fourth
way,
grade was Claypool. I did research.
Isn't
on
it
that.
crazy how we try to be like this person I know, but then we be like, oh yeah, this teacher,
yeah.
and we just blurt the name.
I know. Oh, you're
It's
right.
it's the unifying fucking.
Did you have Miss Claypool 3rd and 4th grade like I did?
I think just fourth. I don't know.
Dang.
I really don't know. I don't have any of those fucking yearbooks.
Yo, do you think boomers, if they had the opportunity for podcasts, they'd do it?
Like
I don't
older
think
people?
they could go as like. They can't be vulnerable for
They
some
were-
reason.
that's what I'm
they
saying, like,
didn't
there's a
learn,
weird-
like,
They were just talking about
they had to have
economics in the news.
That
Yeah.
perfect like demeanor, that perfect like my family's good, job security.
It really is
all
super
of this.
culture at that point, right?
Yeah, and it's like I hope that
Well, the Dow Jones is up.
we're like so
Yeah,
vulnerable
dude, I
in this
couldn't-
generation now. And I think everyone's really honest, and it kind of gets lost. Like there's definitely like facades, but I'm like I really hope that like vulnerability pattern like is consistent with the next generation.
You just got to be around the people who,
that is
you know what I'm saying?
super key, being around the right people.
It's not even a matter of like, it's not to say it in an insulting way, but it's foolish to say I wish the next generation or
Yeah.
this generation inherits this one great thing.
Yeah, you're
because
right.
this is the one true way. I think it's foolish to
That's
have that approach.
So true.
But what you could do and what I've been trying to do is surround myself with people who are smart and who I believe are intellectually on par with me
Yeah.
or above me.
And like live your actions like have to be integrated with like what you believe, and I think that speaks a lot of volume, and people want to like latch on to that same energy.
100%. It's the you get what you give.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
It's one of those things that holds true for me anyway. It's like, and that's the thing, like everything holds true differently for everyone else, right? So if we all can sit here and be like, Batman's Batman and Flash is Flash, I think we just have to accept at one point, like, to let it be what it is and say, who can I be around and what can I do to make that group or that place better?
Yes.
Because I was there.
Yeah. Yeah, leaving like your print on something in the best possible way. But also is good subjective? Is bad subjective? So what is better?
You know,
How are you leaving something better?
You said something earlier is like you don't believe in normal. Is that true? Because I believe in normal, and I struggle with the idea of normal.
Like there's like the idea of normal, but it's like, that doesn't mean it is normal.
It seems like you don't like to pick a side.
Yeah, it's funny. Like I wouldn't say I'm indecisive, but I see both sides. Like it's been really clear for me to see both sides.
Do you think at some point that hurts more than it helps?
No,
How are you going to vote this year if you're voting?
Damn.
that's a great question. Not a clue. Not a clue what to do.
There's two options.
There are.
Well, there's
two
There's actually-
shitty options.
There's three options, really.
There's three shitty options because I don't know the third.
The third option is you
I am
don't
about
vote.
to kill a 12-pack right now.
I'm impressed.
Mainly because of fucking me, first of all.
We're both
Wow.
at 6.
No?
What are you at?
1, 2, 3, 4,
This is
5.
for sure my
Look at all.
5th.
How many do you guys usually drink?
2.
4.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
You came all this way.
We should have brought a keg.
I'd be down.
Yeah, let's go. Next time.
Next time. I'll be back for sure.
Fly down a keg.
Yeah, I'm down. Why don't you guys just come to Arizona? We'll do a podcast there.
I'm down.
I'm down.
You give me. Okay, you can go. I don't like
need
that. I don't like that, but I appreciate that you're comfortable enough to do that to me.
I do. I feel.
Does that make sense?
I just need to
I
request
get
the
it.
time off.
I'm unemployed right now, so we can make this happen tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely.
I can't.
But you live in Scottsdale, you said?
Yeah.
My sister owns a salon out there. It's
What's salon?
Intrinsic.
I don't know why I asked. Why would I know?
It's all good. Intrinsic. Go there if you want. And
You hear
basically,
it. Arizona folk.
what I'm saying is, I'll come down. We have to drive down because we're bringing all my shit.
Uh-huh.
But if you want to drive down, man, and we can get that trip.
anytime.
We can get that trip to Arizona out of the way. We've been trying to go to Arizona for a while.
I was thinking go to Joshua Tree. That'd be sick.
Nice.
Yeah, that's where
the middle of fucking nowhere.
Yeah, it's
Dope.
not really. It's more California still, but I would.
But
love
it'd
to
be
go
dope.
there.
Fucking
But
Blythe. Let's do it.
Just go to Blythe.
I always went past Blythe. But yeah, man, we can get the trip to Arizona out of the way, and then go kick it with my sister and
hang out
she's
hang
got a
out at the
salon.
Desert Ridge Marketplace.
Dude, heck yeah. Desert Ridge is blowing up right now.
Really?
Yeah, you probably didn't realize
What
it,
about
but,
the
like,
fucking mall next to it? City North.
That's pretty much the same, but it's
Dope.
like kind of like boot. I don't
They
know.
had big ass plans for that.
They did.
Never happened.
They have a Mellow Mushroom. They have like
Been there.
Kona Grill, but like, I don't know, man. Like, it's all right.
There was really big plans for it, and they just fucking.
I remember that
fell
too.
through.
The cool spot now is I'm trying to think like
It's not PV Mall.
Ooh, people went down. When are they gonna destroy it? There's been talk about it for years that they're gonna like.
They should.
You know,
Take
if
it
you
out.
just show up with a bunch of C4, I'm sure no one would say anything.
I'm sure they'd be like,
They'd be like, oh, thank God. Now
now we don't.
now we only have to hire a cleaning crew.
Yes, exactly.
Jesus.
The Paradise Valley Mall is a fucking shithole.
It used to be the
always
best.
been.
It used
I
to
love
be
the word
watering
shithole. I've been
hole.
using it a lot more. Moore Park, shithole. Simi, shithole. Paradise Valley,
Paradise
Shit.
Valley
Certi-
Mall. Paradise
cer-
Valley is great.
Paradise Valley Mall, certified
It's big.
shithole.
There's nowhere cool. Like the cool place now is downtown Phoenix. You have like Roosevelt Row, which is like the artsy scene basically. All the local
Tempe Town
beers.
Lake.
I love Tempe
Is
Town
First
Lake. I'm a
Friday?
huge
Do you
advocate.
do First Friday at all?
They do First Friday, yeah.
I said First Friday to this guy, and he's like, "What the fuck is First Friday?"
What is First Friday?
It's like the
street fair.
Yeah. It's cool.
It's a freak show, basically. It's like a
I
circus.
wouldn't even call it a freak show. It's just like they want to have community.
I saw people swallow
but
swords, spit fire, and jump into pools of glass. It's a fucking freak
literally,
show.
I wish that I went to that one. Like the
I
one.
was 7.
Oh yeah. So you went to
don't do
downtown
that
Phoenix when
anymore.
you were 7. Like I wonder what downtown looked like at that point.
I was afraid to go to downtown.
Yeah, I was like,
back in
you
the day.
didn't go
do you
downtown.
know? Do you know a place called the Shot of Java?
No.
I went to a coffee house called the Shot of Java, and then basically stayed up till like 4 a.m. with my sister and all of her friends at First Friday,
Wow.
and it was insane.
that sounds pretty cool. At that age.
It was cool. It was a little scary because it was like my sister was basically just trying to date this guy, so she was like staying out late to impress him.
Dang, Colin.
And I was like, she's fine with it. And I was like, when are we going home? And she's like,
Never.
why? And I was like,
Why?
it's late. And she's like, you gonna tell dad on me? And I was like, no.
What?
And then we walked the street, and I remember seeing like it was just a bunch of like, I guess like easy ups, people
Yep,
like
yep,
trying to sell
yeah.
stuff.
Selling
and,
stuff. That's what it is.
And
now.
there's a lot of street performers playing songs,
Music,
and then
yeah, that's
sword
pretty much all it
swallowers and
is.
fire spitters.
just like sword swallowers, fire just like
Just
the
who-
basics really.
Whoever's out there with a talent, it's like Venice Beach, but in a
Absolutely. In the desert.
yeah, exactly.
Have you ever played at First Friday?
No,
Really?
never.
You
That
ever
just
played a
shows
Shot
like
of
your
Java?
esteem.
No.
Go.
What?
It shows your esteem. Like most of the people
People
that
post
play
that.
there, they're
It's
just
like the
that's where they
band.
stay forever. It's like
It's the same thing with like American Idol and Venice Beach, right? Like
Yeah,
the second you try it for American Idol, you're washed up.
exactly. Unfortunately, that's
You won't
sorry.
get you won't get a record deal unless you
won't-
get the record deal at the end of
exactly.
American
You're
Idol.
tainted. Like, oh, you played
100%.
First Friday.
Except for William Hung.
100%.
You're always just the person that was on American Idol.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. That's all you'll ever be.
William
You
Hung
stop
did
there.
pretty fucking good after that.
I've never heard of it.
Well,
She
she
bang,
bang,
she
she bang.
bang.
Oh, she moo.
William Hung.
The Asian guy who sung.
he
She
was a
Bangs.
fucking laughing stock.
Right. He's at the.
I remember Kelly Clarkson, Carrie Underwood.
Yeah, because they fucking won.
You have to win. What about David Archuleta? David Archuleta didn't win.
3rd place.
He got that song Crush. That was great.
And he crushed it.
It
was great.
He crushed it. David Archuleta crushed it.
But yeah, it'd be really dope. And I know this is a weird request, but if you played a Shot of Java, that was the first concert I ever saw as a kid.
At a coffee shop.
If you wanted to do like a coffee shop and then like send pictures of me, I'll share it and I'll post it with you.
That'd be awesome.
You don't have to give in to his fetishized request.
It's not a fetish. I just masturbate to everything.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
To me, play music.
Yeah, it's normal, right? It's like
I'm sure it wouldn't be the first time, so.
100% not.
Don't give in, Ian. Don't give in.
Ian, give in.
Oh my god.
Is the place open?
I don't know.
It's
It
definitely
might not be.
There's not a
Probably
single
not.
coffee shop ever anymore named
so-
Java.
give it.
That's like early 2000s.
Just for
What
context,
does Java mean?
just for context, it's been like 25
Yeah,
years
yeah, I'm like-
that since I've been there, and COVID just struck. So if they weren't doing great before, they're not doing great now.
No one goes to a Java spot.
This
like-
this is more just me
Yeah.
trying to be funny, but at the end of the day,
If it was open that late, I'm wondering.
it was open.
downtown?
It was 24.
There's a spot called Urban Beans that's 24 hours, but it's not really downtown. It's like kind of more centralized Phoenix, but
Mm-hmm.
it's close enough downtown. But then there's also the Grand. Was it near? Did we have like the light rail at that point yet?
Definitely not.
20 years ago?
No, we didn't.
Definitely not.
I don't know. It could have been like where the Grand was, because that's a 24-hour coffee shop too.
My sister would know all these areas.
How old's your sister?
Both of my sisters are 32 and 34. Okay. They're gonna kill me if I got their ages wrong.
They're like, we're in our 20s.
Yeah.
Don't put this
No,
in
they're
that
definitely
box.
not in their 20s. But either 32 and 34 or 34 and 36. But
Jenna and Ashley?
yeah. But basically, they know all of Arizona, and me and my brother moved away at a young age.
Yeah,
so
I was
like,
the same
I have memories of places.
Mm-hmm.
But
Where's
I
the
don't,
rim, Jenna and Ashley? Where's the rim?
What's the rim?
The rail.
The rim. The best fucking camping place in the goddamn
Oh,
world.
the
you're
rim.
talking like the Muggian Rim? Or
Yeah.
what it's called? Like
The
way-
rim.
Yeah, I just went camping there like 2 weeks ago.
The best.
Dog,
See?
Hey, that's
See?
the thing.
It's the spot.
We'll go out there. We'll shoot the
The
podcast.
fucking best.
On the rim.
And then we'll
On location.
Are you fucking down?
We just need
I'm
a
so
generator.
down.
Dude, are you
I'll
fucking
bring my
down?
hammock. Yeah.
We just need a
We
generator.
all, that'd be great.
Oh my god. And a few extension. Oh my god. And then a few extension
And then
cords.
Ian can play in the background, just like.
Oh my god, you're the guy at the bonfire playing the guitar.
I don't want to put him in that box, but
No, he's in that box. Too late.
The box.
late.
The box is open, so you're not trapped
you're not.
in the box. Yes.
You can peek out.
Yes.
Absolutely.
You're not locked into anything.
It's just cardboard. It's
See
not.
that's a man who knows. If you put him in a box, he's like, I'll just poke air holes.
Yeah, I'm not worried about
He's
it.
like, there's no putting a ceiling
no
on me.
box.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's no
absolutely.
box.
It's not permanent.
There you
So
go.
funny.
Yes. Yes.
Fuck yeah.
We're gonna
dude.
do it again.
Hell yeah. We'll come out to Arizona next time. How's that?
That'd be sweet.
Sounds great.
That'd be really sweet.
I want to go back.
Yeah. We just hit 3 hours, and I think that's a pretty good place to put a pin in it.
I'm gonna have to sit. I have to agree. I'm exhausted.
Well, with that being said, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for being here.
If you made it this far,
Thank you
Yeah.
guys.
Real quick, before you give the outro, please plug anything you'd like,
Yes,
and then
yeah.
Ian, please come and plug anything you'd like, whether it's your social media, YouTube. Get your guys' social media out there, and
for sure.
If you have anything to
Uh,
plug, do it now.
anything to say, or just a message of world peace or world domination. We don't really care. We
George
support.
Bush did
we
9/11.
We support all messages on 2 Days Drinking Beer,
Wow.
unless we'll just do an apology the next one if there's anything
No.
too crazy. But
No.
Oh.
I'm
So-
done with that.
please.
My plug. You can find me at Chaisface on Instagram. My name is spelled kind of funny. It's Chais, face, the way it's spelled. It gives you like a reminder of how to say my name. Like most people when they find me on Instagram, they're like, they don't really know how to pronounce my name. So if you put face next to it, then it makes it easier because it rhymes. But yeah, that's I don't have anything deep to say, but thank you for listening to me.
And Ian off camera has his plugs.
I've been on the side this whole time. You saw me for a little bit. You still can't see me. My name is Ian Graham. You can find me on Instagram at in.grhm.
No, it's
Um,
underscore. It's not a dot.
It's a dot.
What the
On
fuck?
Instagram, it's a dot.
Damn, some friend you are.
I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see.
Terrible.
Ah, dang, it is a dot.
It's a
I
dot.
just saw
Wait,
it.
which
in
one of
my
you
brain.
drove all the way out here? If you drove, you're a terrible friend.
I know.
You're an awful friend.
I know.
There's
I
a
know.
dot in his Instagram username.
Anyways.
Go ahead. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Good job.
If you like music, I've got this band,
The
Topanga
greatest
Breakfast.
band.
Let him talk.
It's so great. You have to listen to it.
So check that out.
What's it called?
Topanga Breakfast.
Is there a website or are you guys on Instagram or Spotify?
Spotify, yeah.
Spotify.
It's an album up.
Okay.
Check it out.
I fucking will. And if
Um,
you guys need a mixing engineer,
I desperately need a mixing
holla
engineer.
at me, bro. I
I
got
have to
you.
move to Arizona.
I'll send you some stems.
Please do. I
Over
got
the
you. I
internet.
got you.
We love
I
the
see
internet.
these
You're right.
monitors.
Clearly, I don't have
I'll
any
trust
idea.
It's okay.
All right, Josh, roll the outro.
Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you so much to Chase for driving out here so
Of
much.
course. Thank you for having me.
It's been 15 fucking years since we've seen
Crazy.
each other last. It's crazy. She's actually here. Thank you for also being the first female guest on this
oh, it's my
podcast.
pleasure.
It should be
Seriously, some diversity for real.
Mhm.
should be the highest of honors, and you can brag about this forever.
I feel it.
I was on
Until
two,
we get canceled.
I was on 2 Dudes Drinking Beer. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for being here. You can still buy the merch. You just won't get free shipping. I'm Josh.
I'm Alec.
I'm Chase.
Thanks
Thank
for hanging
you.
out with us.
Thank you guys.